Okay, I think we're good to go now. Welcome everyone to our playtest of Maximum Apocalypse RPG at the end of Not a Con. This is a special Not a Con adventure that I wrote called The Outpost. I think later I might rename it. It seems more like it's The Home, but that's something that will come up later. Anyway, I'm joined with some players today. If you want to know these guys, they'll introduce themselves later. But first, let's talk about Maximum Apocalypse, the RPG. For those that don't know, it's based on Maximum Apocalypse, the board game. This is the cool logo, upside down. There you go. From the board game. And I have created the RPG version, which we're working on. And we're in discussions about how we're going to move forward with the Kickstarter in the near future. So why don't we start now and talk about our characters that are going to be playing in this adventure. Joe, why don't you start in who you are and what's going on with your character?
All right, I'm Joe. Tiny little YouTube channel, 1 foot wall. Check it out. Don't check it out. It's all good. Today, in Maximum Apocalypse, I am playing Dingone. He is actually a Zulu warrior who lived through the apocalypse of a robot uprising, and he got really good at slaughtering these giant mechanical machines and coating the ground in their oil and piston fluids. He was on a refugee ship to help the survivors coming out of Africa there, and after one trouble and another, and all of these damn kaiju and different sea monsters just up everywhere from every other apocalypse going on, ended up washing up somewhere in the States and making his way to where we are now. Travels everywhere with a big old giant riot shield made out of an old car door, wearing a flak vest and carrying his trusty spear made from the reforged metal of slain robots and mechs.
Very nice. Jeremy.
Yeah, my name is Jeremy. You can find me at Gordonette Games on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I am playing Hickok Earp. He is recognizable by his cowboy boots, the 2 guns on his hip, the cigar that he keeps in his mouth, and the cowboy hat that he always wears. He's got a real like weather-worn face. And he is a survivor of a kaiju attack, so he's seen some crazy shit.
Very nice. Dean, it's you next.
I'm playing Jean, who is a mechanic with some medical background. So, living or mechanical, he can hopefully help piece it back together. He survived an alien invasion and actually has some experience with some xenotech, learning how to use the weapons the aliens brought here and use it back against them. But usually he swings a pretty good hammer instead. A little bit of a grease monkey, fixing and always tinkering with different stuff. And that's Jean.
Very cool. Okay, Young, it's you.
My name is Young Kim. I'm going to be playing Jun Kim. That's a great stretch there. Young Kim, Jun Kim. I'm going to be playing a Ronin character. He's an amnesiac, so he doesn't remember much. He just remembers waking up one day and facing this robotic apocalypse and surviving through that. And he finds himself a sword. And ever since that time, he's been wandering the wasted land of Nevada or somewhere around there, and eventually found a little baby cart. And instead of carrying a little baby inside, he's been carrying his food and other stuff. So he's a hoarder as well. Yeah.
All right, very nice. Mike.
Yeah, I'm Mike. You can find me at muskulls.org or at Facebook, MUSkulls. We're not the rock band, we're the game group. There is a MU Skulls rock band out there. I might as well give them a little props, but we had the name first. Today I'm playing Old Pat. Pat's a veteran. His apparent age is 60, although if you talk to him, he seems to believe that he's somewhere around 300, maybe 400 years old, as he feels he keeps cycling through time. So everybody always seems familiar to him, but he's like, I'll see you again. If things go bad, this will be okay. And that's kind of Pat. He's kind of laid back, but he's got that veteran soldier edge to him.
Very nice. Okay, and James.
Hey, I'm James. Today I'm playing as Thomas the Fireman. Poor old Thomas. He doesn't have that much brains as it went to his big old body as a giant, but that saved him during the food riots that he went through, which also coincidentally made him a hoarder. And while he was having a hard time finding food, he found that it's really easy to keep everyone away from you if you play with fire. And he loves fire. He likes to throw it. He likes to start it. He loves fire.
He's a quintessential fireman. Cool. All right. So these are the characters that we have. We have a couple of Ronin, a couple of other types. Just saying that because we have 2 Ronins. Then we have a veteran, a fireman, a mechanic, surgeon, and a gunslinger. So it's a nice little setup here. You've got people that can throw long range and close range damage, which is great depending on the fight. We'll see how it goes. All right, so to start off, I need each of you to roll for me a d10. That's on the back.
Mike's still quiet, by the way, because it looks like it's not picking up very much.
It's fairly quiet from my end, but I also don't know where I register on the end of sound.
I got 10.
10? Okay. So here's how it's gonna go. Northwest. That's just write that down or keep that in your mind. Northwest for 10.
Jean got a 3.
Also northwest.
Got a 4 for Dingane.
True east.
4 for Pat.
True east as well.
Got a 1 for Thomas.
Northeast. And Jeremy, it's you. What did you get? Is he still
Jeremy?
there? There.
You're muted, I think, dude.
No, it's not muted.
No.
It's just not registering very well.
Lean
I gotta-
closer? I don't know.
Yeah, it was working fine before the broadcast. I'll try to figure it out. Give me a second.
Okay. Should I just... I'll just roll for him, and then we can find out while he's doing that, so then we'll know which direction. This is just a direction. It will make sense to you in a moment. So it's no big deal whichever you roll. So 5. Southeast. So Jeremy. So Hickok is coming from the southeast. Got it. H, southeast. Okay. Just keep these directions in mind. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, another test. Is that better?
That is a lot better. That is some sound.
Okay,
Coming
cool.
out of your microphone. You're coming from the southeast. That's the direction you are coming from. So this is the direction that you guys are coming from when you approach what's about to happen or what the scene that you're about to see. You are coming from various different directions. Some of you are coming from the same direction. I noted that there were 2 from the northeast and 2, I think, from the. There were 2 of you coming from the same direction. So there's true east, I think, and then the northeast. I've already mixed up my papers. Can you believe that? The game
Yeah, I
doesn't even really
think
begin.
there's
There it is.
me and someone else coming true east.
Yeah, there's 2 true easts, 2
Yeah, Pat's coming true east.
2 northwests is what it was. True east and 2 northwests, 1 southeast and 1 northeast, if I remember correctly. Okay, so those of you that are coming from the same direction, You aren't necessarily together unless you want to be. That is up to you. I will leave that to you. But you're not necessarily coming together. But you're coming from the same kind of direction, so you might see each other when you break through the trees and see what you see. You're all traveling for a little while. You're trying to find food, and you're just sort of wandering. When you come out through a grove of, you come through some trees, and as you're going through the trees, you come out the other side to find what appears to be some kind of farm homestead. So those of you who were, I think it's Jeremy, Hickok was the only one coming from the southeast. Everyone else was coming from the north or east. Hickok comes from, he first comes out of the trees, and he's got a long stretch of what appears to have been farmland. Just land that looks like it was cultivated at one point in time, but everything's been burned, and it's all just trampled and burned. And he travels for a little while before he comes to where everyone else is. Quite a long distance, actually. So he's walking on this empty space for a long time. The rest of you break through the trees, and what you see in front of you is a house. The house appears to be not empty. There's some lights, but the first floor, most of the windows on the first floor are boarded up, but it's a 2-story house. It's an antebellum plantation house. And the second story has porches on all sides. So there's a porch on all 4 sides. They're not connected. They just jut out from the house, which is kind of cool and interesting. The home interior, the roof angles upward, and on the top you see 2 large water canisters with some contraption in the middle and some other things. It looks like there's some junk up there, but there's also a chimney, a stone chimney top that sticks out of the roof. So this house, and there's a little bit of smoke coming out of it. So this house looks like it's being used. When you start looking even more at it, what you find is that around the house is a low wall that has some chain link fence that goes up on top of it. So it's a 3-foot wall, and then there's 3 more feet of chain link fence, and then there's 3 more feet on top of that. So 9 feet total of fence. But those 3 extra feet are just razor wire, but that's stretched pretty tautly, and there's a little bit of what appears to be electrical energy sort of sparking through it. Not quite controlled, but it is there. There's also some lights. Let me see. I'm gonna get to where I'm at. Inside the wooden inside the fenced area, facing outwards, are posts with lights atop of them. They're spaced every 50 feet, making 12 in total, 3 for each side of this fence and house. They point outward toward you guys, and there's an open space on the outside of the fence that leads up to the fence. There's one gate, which comes from a small gravel driveway that goes up to the house, what appears to be an old road that goes through the forest. None of you are approaching from the direction. It was true north. I don't think any of you are coming from true north, but it might be on either side of you guys that are coming from the north, so it's in between you. And this is what you see. You also see an American foxhound. Wait, foxhound? Yeah. Anyway, a dog. You see a dog on the porch. I wrote it down somewhere and I can't find it now. But there's a dog. Yeah, an American foxhound lazing on the porch. Beyond the house, you see farmland, and a distance away, it's about 300 meters from the house, is a barn, or what appears to be an old barn. The paint on it's faded, but it's still 2 stories. It's wooden, has a roof that points up. But coming out of the roof are a bunch of weird antennae. And Jeremy's the only one approaching from the south, so he's the only one that comes to the barn before he comes to the house. The rest of you are the house between you and the barn. And this is what you come to when you come out of the trees. And like I said, you may not be, those of you that came from the same directions may not be with each other, but you can be if you want to be. So what do you guys want to do as you come up on this scene? You're hungry. You have no food.
Well, Dingone is sorry, Thomas.
Oh, go for it. You already had something.
Oh, okay. Dingone is a trusting person. He believes he can really kind of read people, and with old Pat traveling the same direction, he definitely would have approached on the way cautiously to be just friendly as a traveling companion, because 2 sets of eyes are far better in this world than just a lone pair.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's good with you, Pat, Dingone would have
Oh, yeah.
approached in a friendly manner.
Yeah, and Digani looks at you and goes, I don't. I look at you and go, I don't remember this. I don't have any memory of this at all.
Then we are in the same position. I have no memory of it either, my friend.
I goes, well, we gotta trust people. Might as well.
Perhaps there's someone there we can do some work for them for food or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they will share.
True.
Yeah, I guess slowly kind of start to approach, not quickly, not threatening, but out in the open, so possibly someone might see.
Yep.
Okay.
Not trying to, or at least Dingone is not trying to sneak.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll even raise my rifle up over top of my head. Just to make sure the message is clear.
Got it. I'm keeping note. Okay, what about the rest of you?
Thomas, he just sees, ooh, small dog, must pet. Thomas just gonna march up to the fence. Looks at the fence, sees his pointy. Thomas does not like that, and decides to try to cut his way through this hatchet.
Cut his way through with the hatchet. Okay. Then as you come up, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. So we'll get back to you. Thomas cuts fence. I'm gonna write that down because I have to get back to that. What about the rest of you?
Jun looks around for like a tall tree. Is there a tall tree that he can climb?
Yep, absolutely. It's a little bit of a ways from the house. Like I said, the house is inside of a clearing, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he's been going through a lot of hostile territory, so he doesn't know exactly who to trust.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to basically sit out and surveil the area and see, sit there for a couple hours or so to see what sort of compound this is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Climbs tree. That's fun. Why don't you go ahead and roll an athletics for me? I'm just trying to see how well he climbs the tree.
It's 2d10, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be doing athletics for you. Did you freeze?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Like
can you hear me?
Froze for a second. Yeah. Now I can hear you. You were gone for a moment.
Yeah, I'm switching back and forth between my character sheet and this app, and I'm using my iPhone, so that's probably the reason why. I roll 14, but what do I check it against?
Athletics. Your character has athletics, or if they don't have athletics, it's a strength.
Okay, give me 1 second.
But if you don't have athletics, it's going to be a disadvantage. You have to roll one again. I think you have it though. I think that's one of the ones that he has. I don't have the character sheet in front of me, which I should have.
I got strength of 80,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't. I'm having a hard time finding the athletics.
So athletics is under. It's the only one in the skills section. Should be right under. Yeah, on the left hand side of the character sheet. There's like a strength. That should be the one. Let me pull up your character sheet.
It's the first one on the top of the skills.
Yeah. New folder. Nope, that's not it.
Got it. I got it, guys.
Okay.
It's 80, 40, and 20, and I roll 14.
Okay, so you did a fine job. You climbed that tree like there was nothing happening. Oh,
He does a couple of backflips.
Do I have an old character sheet for you? I maybe have an old character sheet up there, and that's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, you totally just that tree was nothing. You get to jump.
Yes.
Sort of ninja up it. Like you don't even use your hands. You just do, and you're up.
He runs it up at 90 degrees.
Okay, so that's that. What about Jan and Hickok?
Are the two of them approaching from the northwest together? Is that the two that are in the northwest?
No, Hickok's coming from the southeast.
Okay, somebody else is...
The northwest, I think, was June, so he ran up a tree before you apparently got to him.
Okay, then maybe while he's up there, I come along afterwards and catch up. And I'm looking to trade my skills at fixing things for some food or some shelter or anything we can do to keep alive.
Okay. I did forget to mention one thing, but you guys all notice it now as you're kind of approaching the house. Back to in the south, you see a rolling storm with green clouds and arcs of electrical lightning. You know that that's not a very good sign for the possible future weather patterns in this area. Now, it's not moving very quickly, and it's also not necessarily moving towards you, so you're not sure if it will roll over this house or this area, but it is something to be threatened by in the distance. So that's something to consider, especially something for June to consider. It's like I said, it's not necessarily a threat at the moment, but it might become one, depending on how the weather turns.
Is there a possibility I could see Jun in the tree as I'm coming up to the edge?
I don't know. Was June being particularly stealthy about it?
How far away is the storm? How long would it take?
It's probably going to take several hours before it would roll up on the farm, but it is there. It is present. Okay. It also depends on the wind. It may move quicker than expected, but it does look like it would be a couple of hours before it rolls up on the house. If it rolled up on the house at all.
Actually, I have. Oops, sorry. I have Sixth Sense.
That's true. Yeah.
Is there a possibility I would feel him watching from up there or something like that to see him?
Yeah. So if he's being stealthy, which I don't know that he was being particularly stealthy, then he might hide from you. But even if he did, you kind of have this feeling that there's somebody there in the trees.
I'd be looking around for somebody around or something around.
Sure.
There's lots of zombies in this area too, and
So the question is, Young, did you want June to be hiding from this guy that just walked by?
Well, he didn't see anybody nearby when he climbed up there, so I don't think he's really hiding. He's not making an effort to hide.
Okay.
But he's just perched up there.
All right, so we'll just have Jen go ahead and roll a perception to see if he sees him, and if he succeeds, then he saw him, and we'll just go with that.
43. Perception.
It's probably pretty good.
85, 42, 21.
Yep. So to be clear, the first number is the number to get a success. The second one is the second degree of success or a great success, and then the third one is the extreme success or the third degree of success, and then a 001 is a critical success. So that's what those numbers mean, so you guys can know in the future.
So he was 1 point off of the great success. He just has a regular success.
Correct. Yep. That's enough, though. Like I said, if you had a success, you saw him because he's not necessarily being super hidey. And you have a spidey sense that tingled. So you saw that there's a guy in the tree.
I take it zombies don't exactly climb trees to see around, so I'm going to assume he's not a zombie, and not too close, but 50, 75 feet, and hail him to get his attention so he doesn't try and shoot me from distance.
Okay, June, you're being hailed. How do you want to handle that?
I opened the frequency.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, so I looked down at him and it's like, "Hey there!" He waves. Do you live in that compound down there?
No, I've been traveling from back this direction a couple of days now, 3 or 4 maybe, several naps anyway.
Well, I've been doing the same. I've been traveling for about 3 days straight, and I'm out of I'm all out of food here. I was thinking maybe I should walk up and approach the compound. It seems like there's somebody living in there, but I don't know what sort of place it is. So that's why you see me up here. I just want to find out if it's a place that I could approach, or if I would have a better luck passing by and try to look for some other place.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, but there's this nasty storm rolling in. I think we need to find some cover, and I'm hoping I can trade some skills of repairing things for some good shelter for the night, or maybe a couple.
Oh, well. What do you suggest? You want to go in there and knock on their door? It doesn't seem like they like any, they like the solicitors. Maybe they don't like the stuff that people have been selling.
I'm quite sure they don't get many door knockers out this way. But I imagine if we approached cautiously with openness, we would at least get a conversation with them.
Well, I'll stay up here for a little while, maybe about 30 minutes or an hour or so. But if you feel inclined to do so, then go ahead, be my guest and approach them. I'm just going to stay up here for a little while. If you don't mind me, I'm a bit cautious these days.
Okay. How about you keep a watch on me, and I'll go down and have a little peek, and if they shoot me from the second floor window and kill me out in the open, you know not to come on down.
You know what? I'll do this. I'll keep an eye on their window. If they stick a rifle out of their window, I'll just shout at you. How's that?
Well, that sounds like a plan.
All right.
Two sets of eyes are better than one.
Best of luck to you. Don't get shot.
I'll proceed on down from there.
Okay. And now Hickok. What is Hickok doing approaching from the south? You have a barn that you come upon first, and then you have this house and this fence around it. Also, you see that there's some kind of small farm on the backside of the house between the house and the fence, in that what would be the backyard, as you remember it sort of being called. It's got there's plants and stuff growing there.
So I'd like to check this barn out.
Okay. So you approach the barn. There doesn't seem to be anything. It's just a barn. There's a door on the south side, the side that you're coming up on. It's a pretty large door. It's one of those big slide doors that you find on a barn. The trim around it is slightly white, but it seems like it's faded and peeled a little bit. It has a metal handle.
Yeah, if it's not already open, I'll open it.
Okay. All right. So as you touch the handle, roll for me a resilience roll.
Crit success. I got a 1.
Oh, you got a 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was busy, so I rolled my dice and I didn't even look at them, and I was busy looking for resilience, and I look over and I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, I didn't need to look that up. Okay, so you feel a tingling in your hand as you get shocked by something, but it, for whatever reason, you just sort of shrug it off. It's not that strong, not a big deal, I guess. And then you go ahead and you can pull the door open.
So yeah, what do I see whenever
so as you start to pull the door open, you get it about a quarter of the way open, and you see what appears to be a bunch of electronic devices inside with some beeps and boops and some flashing lights, little wave signs on screens. But as you get about that quarter way, you get some kind of canister goes off and you get some mist in the face. Go ahead and roll resilience again. See if you shake this one off. It's 2 traps on this door.
It's just a regular success.
Okay, a regular success. All right, so you become stunned. You don't go unconscious or anything. You become stunned. You have a -5 to your initiative for the next 1d4 combat rounds, but you're not in combat, so you'll probably be fine in a moment. But yeah, so you feel woozy for a moment, and you're not disoriented, but you're not like completely disoriented. Just things seem weird, and a moment later you're fine. As it clears up and your eyes clear out and your nose clears out. But you see a room full of electronic devices, big computer panels, power supply couplings, batteries. They run to the antennas that go up to the ceiling, which you see they poke through the rooftop. Let's see what else. Boop, boop, boop. Yep. To understand them, you'd have to roll some things for me, because you're also not a technical person, so they don't immediately stand out to you. But they're definitely electronic devices.
So yeah, trying to make sense of what's going on in here. I rolled an 85, so that's well over my intelligence. Yeah, I kind of just think that these are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just computers. Like, these are electronics.
Yeah. So you have a vague understanding of what they are. You could have rolled mechanics, intelligence, or mechanics, science, or academics. So what you notice is, they're computers. Essentially, there's some signal registers, some fluctuating waves. You see that there's some frequencies that are being registered and tracked. And one of the machines seems to be outputting a counter frequency of the exact opposite frequency wavelength of one of the screens that you see. So there's a screen with a wavelength, and there's a screen with a counter wavelength. And there's two devices that seem to be working in opposition of each other. And that's what's in the room. Other than that, there's about 5 CP of just random component pieces hanging out in the room, probably for minor repairs to these machines.
So I gather that CP.
Cool.
And then, like, is there any place that you can get like in the rafters or loft or anything like that, where you can maybe get a vantage point on the house from here?
Sure. Yeah, you can climb up to the second floor. There's a ladder. There's a bunch of holes poked in the roof and in the side for the antenna to come up and go out. There's probably half a dozen antennas that are sticking directly out of the roof of the barn, but then there's another dozen or so that are going up and then stop about at the roof, or they join the bigger ones that are sticking out of the roof.
Yeah, so I just want to get an elevated view of the house and the farm and everything like that, and maybe see if I can't discern like any patterns of the people living there or anything like that.
Okay. So you get up there, and you're on the second floor. You can see through an opening that's in the wall. You can see the house. You see that there's a farm area, a small farm area between the back of the fence and the back of the house, or the fence facing you and the back of the house. There's some lights. You see the balconies all have sandbags and wood reinforcements where the banister railing would be, and there's a spotlight on the left corner of all of them, on each of them. So each one has a spotlight on the left corner if you were looking out from that balcony. So somebody's kind of anal retentive and put it in the same place on all the 3 balconies you can see. You can't see any people, as it were, in the house or in the backside of the house, but what you do see is a bunch of guys on the other side of the house approaching the fence, and that's what you see happening. It's a bunch of males of various different sizes and shapes, and one of them is taking an axe to the fence.
So yeah, I guess what I'm going to do is kind of sit tight and see what happens to these guys.
Sure. Makes sense to me. So what we're going to have is that all 3 of you that are approaching the house end up kind of approaching the house at the same time, and Thomas will come a little bit after you and come at the fence with his axe. So we'll do that.
Okay. Oh, so I should be able to see who is it? Mechanic and
you see these guys right about the time that you've made the decision that you're going to go after the dog. You want to pet the dog, and then you realize the fence is in your way and you don't like that. And about that time that you've decided you're going to cut through the fence, you see these other guys come out of the trees approaching. from different directions, and so there's like a moment where they see each other, and that's where we're going to be when you are about to attack the fence with the axe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as Thomas lifts his axe, he sees these people. He goes, "Oh, maybe they like doggy. I'm gonna go up to the good old man with tools. Maybe ask if he likes to pet dog with me."
Okay, so you're not going to jump the fence, which is probably a smart idea. All right, so you approach the others. So you guys, you three, two of you from one direction and one of you from another direction, see each other as you come out of the trees at roughly the same time, and then a moment later you're going to be joined by this quite large person with an axe. So we'll go with you three, and what do you guys do when you see each other, and then we'll have the axe man come up.
I'm kind of look over, and I glance back at Pat and look over at the new persons that stepped out from the trees, and kind of hold hands up. Hello, is this your place?
No, I don't live here either. I'm traveling for several days this direction. There's nothing out that way. Very, very little food on that direction. I haven't eaten a couple of days now. How about you?
Same. We're coming from back the other way here.
Nothing out that way either?
Nothing. And there is a storm coming, it seems.
Indeed.
I don't like the look.
I think this is about the only place we're going to find shelter, and hopefully they're a little bit friendly. There's one more fella up there in the trees that I bumped into. He's watching from up there to see how I was received, but then I bumped into you guys down here.
Gani, this isn't good. We got too many people converging on this area at once. Anybody
agree.
inside's going to get skittish.
It looks like an assault. I would think the same.
Right then, a man with an axe comes walking up to you guys.
Thomas sees Degani with his hands up and goes, "Hey, you like hugs? I like to give you a hug." Just gives you a nice old bear hug. Swings you around.
I'm no small man myself. I'm not quite as big, but he is not small. I'm well over 6 foot.
Well, since Thomas is
I am not giant.
Yeah, he's a giant. So he's about I'm assuming he matches the wall in height.
Half ogre.
I mean, yeah, no. Thomas says the large build. He's got
He's bulky.
Yeah, the bulky. He's got the largest build possible. So,
Yeah, I'm just big.
Yeah.
Neck scaled down.
Yeah.
So we got big and gigantic.
Yeah, and I'm still small by comparison.
All right, so
I just barely creep into big. I think big starts at 100. I'm like 105 on the build points. Or the
I'm 210.
Yeah, that's big difference.
yeah, so Thomas is not quite twice the size, but basically twice the size.
He's big.
Yeah.
He's easily twice the size of me. My build's 60.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yep. I mean, actually, it's pretty close. He's got to eat 5 food units, and you have to eat 2. So yeah, I mean, basically, he's twice the size of you.
So where I'm about 5'4" and about 145, he's massive.
Yeah. So as you guys come together in this converging bear huggy, style thing outside the fence, the lights that are near you come on, and they temporarily blind you. It's not enough for you to get disoriented, but it is enough to shake you a little bit. You're just kind of like, whoa, that is bright. And at that point, you hear a voice call, all right, who are you guys, and what are you doing outside my fence?
Well, Thomas will drop the one tall man, and he'll look at the light and goes, "I want touch dog." While he swings his axe and shield, "I want touch dog."
Dingane holds his hands up and kind of tries to step around the swinging axe. We are not here in harm. We
Digani wants another hug.
we are travelers.
Seeking shelter from the coming storm. We we seek shelter.
You can't see who it is that's talking to you because of the bright lights for a moment, but there's definitely somebody on the other side. There's a pause, and he says, "What do you have to offer me for taking shelter in my home with my family?"
Thomas looks around, sees the little man he's squeezing, goes, "I give bear hugs. I like hugs. I have fire."
Okay, fire's good. Fire's good.
I'm an expert hunter and tracker. I have crossed nearly half this globe.
I can fix things, both mechanical and people. If you have anything needing fixed, I could trade my services for some shelter.
Maybe. But what actual material things can you give me? Fixing, this is good. Fire is okay. But what else can you give me?
We can give you the giant.
Tom's like that.
He could stay and work for you. I don't have any use for him anymore.
That's a pretty tempting offer. Listen, it is a pretty gruesome looking storm. Why don't you come in and we can negotiate? You hear him say something to someone. You catch the name. Is Emery, he says, and then the lights go off, and you see a man standing there who is in his 50s. It appears he's got dark hair. He's pretty tall. He's got some gray hair coming out of his temples. He's a very prominent jaw, but otherwise he looks to be a pretty fit man, and he's holding a rifle in his hand, but he's lowered it. It's not pointed at any of you. The sparks on the fence stop, and he walks over to the gate to unchain it and let you in.
All right. Dingane, he moves the spear over, point down, or spearhead, down to hold it in the same hand as the large Cardor riot shield, and he extends his hand. Good day, and thank you for accepting us in.
You would understand that I'm probably not going to shake your hand because I don't know if you're infected or not.
Understandable. And he passes through. No threat, non-threatening.
Do any of you have any psychic abilities?
Yeah, it does.
I thought so. So you, each of you can pass through the gate relatively fine. You don't feel any heat or any sparks of electricity. Pat, when you go through the gate, you feel this sort of pressing on the back of your head. Just kind of feels like a headache.
Okay.
It's just a -1 to everything. But it is just a small pressing headache in the back of your head.
Hey, this is quite the power setup you got here. You must have quite the generator.
Well, we do, actually. We have several generators. Mostly we power it through solar power during the daytime and possibly wind power, depending on how much wind we have. But we store the backup. We store the power in batteries that we have in our house. And we also have a nice kinetic energy system, which is great for the kids.
Kids, how many kids you got?
2.
2? I used to have 2.
Yeah. Well, I don't suppose they made it through all the chaos.
No. I'll see him again, but that's fine. Another day, right? Another time, another day.
Yeah, I guess so. I lost some people too in the chaos. My mother and my sister, and my sister's kids.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's hard losing people, but you get used to it.
Sorry,
Indeed.
feeding the pet.
I'm the only one left from my family.
Yeah, I think we've all lost someone.
Yeah.
When he closes the gate, he says, "Emery, switch it on." Right then you hear a loud pop, and then everything starts to electrify again. As you start to walk toward the house, he says, "Our barn out there is where we keep most of the equipment. We have several signals and counter signals to keep the robots at bay, and I'm going to be really boastful here right now, and even though my wife tells me not to be so boastful, but I found some xenotech that I retrofitted into human technology, and there's a wavelength that the aliens use to talk to each other. I found a way to tap into that and keep them from coming here. It's a psychic wavelength, and it's I'm pretty impressed with that myself."
Psychic wavelength. Oh.
Very interesting.
Thomas just waves his hand in the air and goes, "Fun toys, but can I touch dog?"
Oh yeah,
Puppy.
Marky is well, she's still a pup really, but sure, go for it. She's fairly friendly.
Yay! Just go. You see him just running off towards the dog.
The dog, obviously gets up when you approach. Immediately like, "What? Who's this?" But doesn't really show signs of being tremendously afraid.
Thomas just pick up the little dog and put it in one hand, just pet it with his giant paw the other. Go, "Pretty doggy, you soft doggy."
I will love him and call him George.
At the mention of the xenotech, Jean will perk up and go, I've had some encounters with aliens myself. I can figure out a few things with xenotech, but that sounds a new one on me. That sounds like a very good find.
Yeah, well, the aliens came to our farm to try to take what we had. They didn't know we were here. We went ahead and took them out, and so we managed to get some of their technology and piece it together. I mean, they killed my mother. It was the best I could do, or the least I could do to remember her by turning them away and keeping the rest of my family safe.
It is quite an achievement.
Yes, very much so.
You are strangely not the first people to approach the farm today. Earlier this morning, two men, not together, they came separately at different times, but two men came and they're inside now. Maybe you guys have met them on your travels. It's a Daxton and Samson are their names. Have you met them before?
Don't believe I've met those guys. I did have one guy that I met up in the woods. He was a little cautious about coming down. He didn't want to approach. Didn't know whether you were friendly or not.
Yeah, Samson thought the same thing, but he actually drew his gun on me until we talked it out through the fence. I guess he thought he could kill me through my own barricade. But Daxton offered quite a bit to be able to get in and stay the night here. He carries a lot of useless parts in his mind, but really extremely useful for me in this setup. So, thought maybe you would cross paths since you all came from the north.
North-ish, over towards the west side a little bit.
We came from east. Dingone says, motioning to Pat.
Yeah, well, that's south. And he points at the empty farm land that's burned. We had to destroy it all when they came. And then he sees something in his barn. He notices that it seems off. And he just kind of goes, Why don't we go inside?
Okay.
Of course. For trade, I do have a still completely workable set of binoculars.
Wait, you got my binoculars? Hey, I could have swore I had them, and then now you took them. Is that what happens?
Not unless you lost them long ago on a different continent.
That might have been the case. Well, mine have my name scratched in them. Is my name on that?
Pulls them out and looks at them. I'm actually gonna leave that up to the dice. I'm gonna give it a 50-50 shot. Let's see, 68. That's high. Yeah, he pulls them out and looks, and sure enough, it's old and faded and worn. But there's Pat scrawled onto part of the binocular casing. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's okay. I mean, if it gets us some food, then I think we can get away with it. That it'll come back to me eventually.
Pat knows he doesn't have or not have anything. He just, whenever it's in his possession, that's great. Oh, man. Well, yeah, I mean, a working set of binoculars would be great. We could totally use those, especially now when there's someone in my barn, I think.
Oh, you got someone in your barn?
Yeah.
Oh, we can go check it out for you if you want.
No, it's fine. I'll see what they do.
Are you guys all outside at the moment?
Yeah, they're coming up to the house. I mean, Thomas is on the porch playing with a dog, but the rest of them have now approached the house and are coming up the steps onto the porch.
Okay. All right. At this point, seeing that the folks have been received without getting shot, Jun decides to climb down from the tree. He grabs his stroller full of stuff and his canister of gasoline and carts it towards the main entrance.
Okay. You guys see this larger man coming down with some stuff, carrying a bunch of things, it seems, and then. But, sorry, the gentleman, the older man that's with you, who hasn't given you a name yet, he turns and says, "Is this a friend of yours?"
I believe that is Jun, the man I told you about that was stayed in the tree line. Apparently, seeing as you didn't shoot me when we walked up, he thinks it's safe enough to come down and talk to.
All right, well, why don't you men go inside, and my wife will talk to you some more. I'm going to go find out about this person.
Okay.
He crosses the yard and comes up to the fence. His rifle is at the ready, but not pointed directly at you. So, you're with them?
Well, not exactly. I just came from this direction, and he thumbs to the direction that he came from. But one of the fellas, he saw me about 500 yards away from here. I wasn't sure whether if it was safe to come in. I see that the storm is approaching, and I thought, why don't I just take a chance, given that none of the folks that I just saw have been shot. So that's why I'm down here.
Well, what can you give me to get inside?
Well, what do you need? And then he rummages through his, stroller, and he pulls out a little can of, oil or something. You need some tuna oil? I got that. How about this? He holds up some, a broken down computer piece. I don't know what it does, and then he puts it back.
Whoa!
Oh yeah!
Stop! Did you just showed me a motherboard for a TI-74?
Is that what it is? I don't know what it is. I just picked it up from the machine that I busted a few months ago.
All right, Emery, shut it down. Come on in.
All right. He pulls the card in. He says, "You guys have food here, right? I can smell them. Pot roast. You guys got pizza?"
I don't think any of us have seen pizza in a goodly amount of time. the last year or so has been fairly chaotic, but we do have some food. We do cook things here, so it's probably better
You
than
got-
what you get wandering.
I smell jerky spaghetti yaki. Right? The fusion mix.
I
I haven't
mean,
had one of those for ages.
certainly have jerky. Maybe
Well.
yaki. I don't know what that is, but
Oh man.
I'll take that motherboard, and then you can come on in. Aw, crying baby. Yeah, that's all right. So he takes the motherboard and lets June in, and you can have some jerky. Whatever it was you said, spaghetti yaki.
Jerky spaghetti yaki. I'd try it.
Okay. So June gets to join the party inside, and it's a party now. So everyone is coming up or inside the house. I don't know how many of you guys stayed on the porch to watch this interaction between June and the man whose name you still don't know.
I think
Dingane.
Thomas is still outside. He's just petting. He's just playing with
Oh
the
yeah,
dog.
Thomas totally saw it.
Hasn't heard anyone speak. Just too busy.
Too caught up in the dog.
Yeah, Dingane would have gone inside.
Okay.
Having had an interaction with Jun already, I'd hang around to make sure he got through the gate. Okay. I'd go up on the porch and wait for him up there though.
Okay. So you go on the porch and you wait and you see the interaction. I'm guessing old Pat goes inside too?
Yep.
Okay. So the two of you, when you enter the house, you find that the door, as you're walking through it, is made of a solid oak. There are some marks of damage on it, almost like someone tried to force entry into the house but didn't manage to get through. And as you enter, there's an entryway. There's doorways on the right and left. There are no doors in them. They're just doorways. And then there's a set of stairs on the right side that go up to the second floor. Down in front of you on the left, there's a hallway that leads back to a door that doesn't have a handle, but it's at the end of the hall. But before you get there, there's a doorway to the left and a door to the right, a smaller door with a handle that sticks out. You can see it's underneath the staircase. When
Do we see any people?
Right, as you say, if you look to the left, you don't see anyone, but you do see that there's also, this kind of looks like it would be some sort of sitting room or something when you walk into a house, but there are no furniture. It's just got some sandbags up against the walls underneath the windows, which appear to have once been boarded. There's still nails in the frames, but the boards are now set off to the side, so light is coming in. On the other side, you hear some people talking, but you don't see them. But there's a table in there with some chairs, but you can't see them by just looking in, by just kind of looking.
I'll make my way into the room with chairs and kind of tentatively call out, "Hello."
As you say hello, the talking stops, but you come into the room to find three people, two males and a female. One of the males is quite large. And his face is dominated with dark, heavy eyebrows that hover like thunderclouds above lightning eyes. The other one is a smaller man. He has a bunch of clothes on that seem to be ragged and worn and dirty, but there's little things hanging from little strings on his clothing. There's a light tint to his face that makes his complexion look slightly dirty, even though you think that he's probably washed himself, but it does match the clothes. So it's pale in some places and darker in others. Splotchy complexion. The woman that's in there, you immediately notice her, and you have a hard time tearing your gaze away from her eyes because they're different colors, but otherwise she's relatively beautiful. She has long brown hair and is thin.
Okay. Dingane smiles. Good afternoon. We were told to come inside and wait.
And who told you that?
The man outside.
Oh, my husband. Of course. Just lets everybody in, I guess. Come on in. Have a seat. We're sort of discussing what the plan is for the evening. I have the children making dinner. I guess we can make more. How many of you are there?
I look back at what I believe is probably a line of folks kind of following me through, maybe. there's a couple.
It's just old Pat. The others are outside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got your back. I'm just standing in the doorway.
Yeah, then I turned back and motioned to Pat. Apparently us two for now. There are more outside.
Hopefully you offered him something worthwhile. I mean, these two at least paid their way in. We can use what they have. But
Well, I do have a nice set of binoculars and some other random scraps and bits that could be useful for something.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am fine with charity, but, you know, ever since things went south, it's hard to just offer things for free to people. I'm not trying to say that I dislike you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that we don't have a lot.
Well, we gave you a giant. I mean, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, a giant. I'm sure he eats a normal amount of food for a giant.
Oh, but think of just the work you can get out of them just to produce food.
Yeah. I'm sure that he could produce a lot of food. I'm just concerned he's going to have to eat it all and not save any for the rest of us. But it's fine. Come on in. You can at least get out of this storm that's rolling in.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to go check on the food. You guys talk amongst each other, I guess. And she steps out of the room. She goes back to a door without any kind of handles. It just sort of opens when she pushes on it and then closes right behind her. Without her pulling it closed. It just, falls closed again.
All right, I'm kind of just, sit there looking around the room, kind of just listening, looking, kind of giving the air a little sniff to see if possibly smell what's being cooked.
It smells like soup. It just smells like boiling. It doesn't really smell like much of anything. There are clear vegetable smells, but it doesn't smell like any meats of any kind. The room that you're in has pictures, some portraits hanging on it, or hanging on the walls. If you take a look at them, you can see what appears to be various different peoples from various different ages and stages of life. None of them look like the lady or the person that let you in, but a lot of the pictures, especially of the males, have a prominent chin, the same prominent chin that you found in the guy that was out there. So chances are these are relatives of some kind. It's a seemingly genetic trait of them all having that same prominent jawline and chin. And then you have the two guys sitting there that are not saying anything.
Pat's going to skirt behind Dingani and the two guys, and just to peek through the door, just to get a lay of the land to where she went. Mm-hmm. Just so I can see what's behind there, in case there's anything that could come out of there. He's trusting, but not that trusting.
I mean,
he wants to clear that room. That's what he is.
If they're cooking meat, you want to know where it's coming from. That's the thing, too, right? So when you look in, you sort of push it a little bit. You notice the door just pushes with you. It doesn't resist or anything. It just has a bit of a spring, but it's not such a thing that you can't just, move it a little bit and look inside. It looks like a normal kitchen. There are counters on 3 of the 4 walls, but the wall near you can't really see what's on it. There's a sink on the far end directly across from where you are, and it does seem like it's working. There's a female, a small child. She's not small. She's like probably 12 or 13 years old. So she's not a child. She's a teenager, but she's a youth for sure. She is doing something with some vegetables. You can't quite see because she's standing with her back to you, but occasionally she turns on the water in that sink and it comes out. And then she does some more. Running water, something you haven't experienced in a while, or maybe yesterday.
I have good memories of that.
And that's
Yeah,
what you see.
he'll just do a quick check of the three corners. Note any entrances.
There is one on the far south end, on the left from where you are now, which, as you notice it, is when the lady that just left the room comes out through that entranceway carrying something. It appears to be a can.
Okay. Because, hey, it smells pretty good back here.
Yeah. Are you a cook? She shouts toward the doorway.
I could be if you want me to. I'll try anything once.
So you step inside and offer your chef services?
Yes.
Okay. They quickly put you to work with a knife. You do see that there's a bunch of vegetables, some cans. They don't have a whole lot. So, if you were to try to rob them, you wouldn't get much out of it.
Yeah.
But they're trying to make a soup out of what they have. Why don't you go ahead and do you have blades? Just a question.
Do I have blades?
Yeah, because they're gonna get you to chop in some vegetables.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's fine. I assume it's over like 10.
Yes.
Okay, you're well enough with blades that you don't even need to like really think about it. You just chop, 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 chop. I mean, you're used to like shank, 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 but you got it. The chopping is kind of like a slash, and that
Yeah.
cutting through things. I'm sure you've carved a deer or two in the process of surviving. So you're definitely pretty deft at it, much more than the teenage girl who's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. My name's Pat. What's your guys' names? I didn't catch it.
Oh, I'm Lorraine. This is Adrian.
Lorraine and Adrian. Pleasure to meet you.
The teenager rolls her eyes and says, "Yeah, I guess."
I used to have a daughter just like you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're old now, so I'm sure that that's true.
Yeah, that's true. I am kind of old, aren't I? A lot older than you might think, little one. A lot older than what you might think.
Mom, do I have to stay here, or can I go find out what Emery's up to? She said, fine, go find Emery. The girl walks through that room, and you hear a door open. And then close again. Jeremy. Hickok, as he's watching, he sees those guys go into the compound, and then some stuff happens. And then he sees another guy come into the compound that's in front of you. And then, right about this point in time, a teenage girl comes out through the back door toward that is on the back of the house, the one that you're looking directly at. She seems to just be sort of walking toward some side of the house that you can't quite see, and then she just kind of stands there for a minute with her arms crossed, and that's what you see.
And I guess my next question would be how hungry am I at this point?
Well, it's been a few days, and you're an average-sized person. Is that correct? I believe so. I believe the answer is yes.
Yeah, 55 for the build. So
yeah, you're just average. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to roll. Where's my D4? A D4 to determine how much hunger damage you've taken. Come on. You have taken 3 points of hunger damage, so decently hungry. So 55, 25, 4. You're actually pretty hungry. I think starving for you is something like 8, maybe 4.
So, how many? I mean, so I guess how hungry would I be in another day?
So you have 8 is your hunger. So you're about in a day. You'll probably be pretty hungry. You'll be starving in 2 days. You could probably make it a day if you hung out in this barn, if you didn't want to enter the fray, as it were, and find out what everyone's doing. You could just take off if you wanted to. The storm is happening, so that it's still coming in. So you have to consider: do you want to keep trying to walk, or do you want to stay in the barn, or do you want to try to go into this
Well,
house?
and I'm sure I see the storm heading in on its way.
You were almost sort of trying to get away from the storm the more you walked north, but it didn't seem to be helping.
It's such a dilemma for me right now.
I imagine it is. I mean, it's up to you. You can stay in the barn. I was just letting you know about the person that came out the back door, since you were wanting to get a read.
Yeah, I think I would stay for as long as possible until I could figure out exactly their routine.
Got it. So you're gonna watch them and then move on in when they're least expecting you to take all their stuff.
Maybe.
I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe you're the traitor bandit person that they should be worried about, and letting all these cool people in and being like scrutinizing them. They're not actually. They're being super accepting for these weird people. All right. So the rest of you, June and Jan and Thomas, you're all on the porch with the guy who let you in. Now, what do you guys want to do? The storm is starting to get closer. It's clearly getting closer.
Jun looks at Thomas and says, "Wow, and I thought I was big."
Didn't you say you have a can of gasoline by chance?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Ooh, Thomas sees the gasoline, goes, "Oh, Tom, you pet dog, I take can," and he just thrusts the poor dog at you.
No, whoa! He catches it and says, "Hey! You can't just throw the dog and go after my gasoline."
Thomas already got the can of gasoline. He starts petting you like the dog now.
So that actually brings me to a point. Do you want to go ahead and roll resolve for me, there, Thomas, or do you just want to accept it?
I'll roll.
Okay, go ahead and roll resolve. A can of gasoline just went into close distance with you.
Okay. D20, right?
No, it's 2d10s. Sorry, 2d10s. Okay. It's a percentile system, and then you just base it on your resolve stat for your character, on your character shape.
Okay. I got a 56. I failed.
You do fail. Yeah, so you want to burn that canister something fierce.
No, man.
Reaching for my lighter. Whoa.
Hey, are you crazy? What are you doing? And he tosses the dog over to, who's the other guy that's there?
Jan is there. Yeah.
Jan! And he tosses the dog over to Jan and tries to stop him from doing so.
Oh, Thomas sees the flying dog, drops the can and quickly goes for doggy. No, doggy.
I'll catch the dog in here and go, "Thomas, no, that's not yours. Bad boy, no."
And John simultaneously dives and tries to catch the canister of gasoline from falling down on the floor.
This is weird game of hot potato juggles. Yeah. Go ahead and if you want to, go ahead and roll your dexterity or whatever.
I got 96, man. I failed.
You get 96. Wow, yeah, you do. You don't catch it. You barely get your hands on it before it falls to the ground. Pours out a little bit. You lose. I'm going to go ahead and roll this right here. Wow. Okay, you can catch it, but you lose 5 liters in the process of it dropping and the lid cracking off, and it pours out a little bit.
He says, "God damn it, you clumsy giant! I can't believe you did that!" And shoots a nasty look at the giant.
Oh, Tom just pokes 2 fingers. Go, "Tom, sorry."
You better be. Oh man. Oh boy. I better hope that you have some ways to make up for this.
Oh, Tom knows. Comes over, bear hug. Hugs make everyone.
Oh boy. And I thought I was just gonna get a meal, and now I'm getting a hug too.
You want more hug? Yay!
Yeah!
We'll be lucky if everyone makes it through the adventure without getting a hug. Okay, so the rest of the night goes relatively easily for you guys who are in the house and whatever. You might have your own arguments with each other, but essentially what's going to happen here is you do get introduced to the family once you're all inside, and they talk to you a little bit more. If any of you decide that you want to offer them any physical item, like the binoculars, as it were before, or the computer, June is fine. He gave a computer motherboard to them, not knowing what it was. I don't know what it was. Which they apparently gladly accepted. If you want to offer them something, then you can. You just have to erase some item from your inventory and say that you offered it to them. Otherwise, you can try to work out a negotiation about doing work for them. They don't really have any work for you to do. In fact, they kind of just, if you're offering them work instead of any objects, they kind of just tell you in a polite way that once the storm is over, you're going to want to move on. They don't have the ability or power to sustain a whole large group of people for a long period of time. In fact, they barely have enough to sustain you through the storm. But they do have some food, and they're willing to share it only because they hope that you'll give them something, right? Sort of the trade. But the one interesting thing about this house that you quickly find out is that it does have running water, because the water on the roof, the canisters that you saw on the roof and the weird contraption they have up there, is actually a system of catching rainwater and then distilling water from that, so that there's clean drinking water and there's water to run their toilets, so that they can actually have indoor plumbing. Something that many of you haven't seen in a few months or a year since the chaos began, or maybe yesterday, in the case of Pat. Slash
Toilets,
30 years ago.
That was about 100 years ago for toilets.
Or ever, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also true. So they you guys all get to make one action before dinner will start. And one of what they suggest or recommend is that you wash up, but they mean by wash your face and hands, not take a shower. They don't have that much water. Come on, you heathens. Save some for the rest of everyone else. But they mean maybe clean up a little bit, because just to relax and rest before dinner starts, and also grubby hands make dirty dishes. So, more water they have to use later. So they, so that's what they do. So what do you guys want to do? You get one choice of action before dinner starts.
Thomas is gonna go back to pet the doggy. His hand's too big. He knows he used too much water. He go nice.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
So, what's the name of that old man?
Oh, right. So you get introduced to the family. I forgot about that. So the older man with the temples of silver, where his name is Graham. The kids call him Papa. And then you meet the kids. The wife is named Lorraine, and they call her Mama, obviously. And then you have Emery and Adrian are the two kids. They're all the Sanders family, or that's what they say. And Sanders does seem to be on some of the stuff in the house. It's sort of like, a monogram or something that's on the stuff. So this is probably their house, though there are no pictures of these particular people hanging on any of the walls or in any of the things. But as I said before, some of the people in the pictures do have the same prominent chin as Graham, the father.
So he asks Graham, who are these people on the wall?
These are my family. This is my grandpa over here. That's an uncle from some war that he was in. I don't know which one, but I guess one in the 70s or 80s.
So how long have you guys been holed up here?
Since it all started, a couple years ago.
I see.
We were living here with
pretty tough.
We were living here with my mom, my sister, and my niece, my nieces, my sister's kids. But they, when we got attacked, they were taken. So they're not with us anymore.
Which ones are they? He says, motioning to the picture wall.
He walks over to a picture that has a group of people. One of the kids might be Graham. Can't quite tell. It's an older picture. And he points to one of the younger ladies in the picture and goes, "This is my mom."
Very lovely. I am sorry for your loss.
Yeah, she was a good lady, and weirdly enough, she liked my wife, which is not weird, but most in-laws don't like their daughter-in-laws. My mom, on the other hand, loved Lorraine, I think, more than she loved me.
You know, I just want to say thank you, because out there we just take what we can get, and it's rare that we come across a place like this where there's a family, and that's something that I was wondering about. How did you manage to protect your family and your homestead for this long?
Well, as I said to the others, there's a series of electronic devices out in my barn that have waves and frequencies and counter frequencies to keep the robots and the aliens off of our property. It pushes them away and sends them somewhat away from us, and we don't appear to be targets to them. Fortunately for us, that same signal keeps those zombies from flocking on our property. Occasionally one will come up, but the fence takes them down before they have any real ability to get through and injure us.
You know, this place is a veritable paradise.
Well, I've had to make it that way. It's taken a while.
So I assume that after the storm, you want us to move on, huh?
Yeah, unless you help me maintain this, I really don't have use for you. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's how it is.
Talking about the aliens and the tech, I'd love to trade information with you and talk for a bit about the development you made. That would help so many places if they could know how to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure that it would. We can talk about it when the storm clears, but I think that right now we should probably stay inside. We'll have dinner and then sleep it off, and then in the morning, if the storm is gone, we'll go check it out in light.
Okay.
All right. Well, better wash up before dinner then.
Yeah, I've got a little grease to get off. I usually working on this, that, or something else to put something together.
Good. Pat, what were you going to do during that the time that these guys were talking to us?
Yeah, he's still helping with meal prep.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You were cooking.
Yeah. He's just
Did he wash his hand?
Just the one hand.
The other one was with the knife, so whatever.
Yeah. No, he's just trying to make himself as much part of this family as he possibly can.
Take over the role of the elderly progenitor.
Yeah. So whatever he could do to help out around the house, he's very happy to do it.
Okay. Pat, the one thing you notice is that there's another door. There's a door on either side that have no handles, but there's a door with a handle right in the center between them. But
while I'm moving around, I'll open it up just to check it out.
Staircase that goes down to a room that seems to have lights inside of it.
Is Adrian still around, or did she bug off already?
She bugged off, but you can hear her talking from down there. Like you hear her voice, and you hear young guys. And eventually, before the meal starts, a kid, a boy, comes up the staircase. He's only about 7 or 8, but he comes up the staircase towards you. The mom also sees you looking in the door right about that time.
Yeah. Goes, hey, you guys got like any extra salt down there?
The boy says, "No, Dad doesn't want to keep salt down here. He's afraid it ruins the equipment."
Oh, okay. Yeah, are you Emery?
I am.
Hey,
are you...
nice to meet you, Emery. I'm Pat.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've met you. Have you been here before? You look familiar.
I might have. I mean, I run into people all the time. I got a familiar face. That's the way I figure. So you got equipment down there too?
I mean, duh.
Wow. So what kind of stuff is down there? I mean, your dad's like a miracle worker with all this technology stuff.
I mean, yeah, people trade it to get in because, he put up the electric fence and that pretty much made us like the best. So
Well, that's cool. That is so cool. Has he got like any contraptions down there that are really neat? Because I bet you're pretty proud of that stuff.
There's like some batteries and like a switchboard. He always says me pull the damn cord thing and turn it off and turn it on. I don't know. It's
Oh, is
my
that for the
dad's stuff.
fence?
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know me. I'm getting old. I keep forgetting things. You know, I just don't think clearly. So you got the control for the fence is down there too. That's what you said, right?
I think I said duh enough times today.
He said, but you got so no salt? Is that what you're saying?
No, not down near the equipment.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
Can I go up, or is that?
Well, of course you can go. Hey, you better go wash your hands because your dad said something about making sure that you're cleaned up before dinner.
Okay. Oh, thanks.
He said, no problem.
He walks by you and then like closes the door. You really don't want to go down there. Like, it's really, really boring. I'm serious. Like, it's the most boring room in the house. And then he walks off. Goes through one of the doors and heads out. And
Excellent.
then right about that time, Adrian comes in through the back door.
Adrian, I was talking to your brother. Does he have salt downstairs?
No. And she walks
No?
off.
Just like my daughter.
Glad to know my portrayal of youths are accurate.
One word answer and walk away before you can ask another question. Just look what you got to look forward to, young.
Crazy old.
Yeah, I'm still about 4 years off from there.
Okay. Sweet. So that's what happens. You finish cooking. The soup appears to be ready. There is no meat. They didn't have any. There's no meat. Not even the jerky spaghetti-yaki to make into stuff. So, yeah, that's not even a thing. So you guys wash up a little bit, and then you sit down to have a meal. You do find out that the big guy, his name is Samson, and the one with the splotchy features is Daxton. They both had no idea that the other person was going to be showing up here. The fact that their names have son in the end is a bit weird. Something that they don't keep. They just keep harping on. They're both named after their family, something or others. Anyway, Samson seems to be a really friendly fellow. So much so that like he almost gives Thomas a run for his money on the friendliness that he's presenting to everyone. He's absolutely okay with the idea that he's going to be leaving as soon as the storm rolls by. He was actually just passing through and then saw this house and thought, hey, maybe I can check in with these guys, see how they're doing, see if they need anything. And when they said, "What are you going to give me to come in?" he was like, "Well, I've got this, can of whatever." And so they were like, "Okay." And that's how that went down. And he's super friendly and talks to you for most of the time, so you don't really have a chance to get to know Daxton too well in this process of getting ready for dinner and everything. But he is a guy who's willing to make a trade with you. That's basically what you know. You need a thing, he might have it. If you've got a thing, he might want it. That's basically what you get out of him. He's clearly hoarding though, because he's got stuff tied to his body that he's like just stuff, like a crescent wrench and like some glue. I mean, like just stuff.
Nice. Dingone kind of sits quietly and just kind of listens. He doesn't generally speak a whole lot. Speaks more when he needs to. So he's just kind of smiling and enjoying the sound of people sitting around and conversing again. Like it kind of reminds him a little bit of the old times. So he's just enjoying himself quietly.
What about the rest of you? Any thoughts while you're eating dinner?
Well,
Well,
I,
I mean, I think you're pretty much set. 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 You're pretty much set
Jun has his stroller full of stuff in that same room. In it is his katana also. He's not wearing it to the dinner table, thank God. But it's the hilt is sticking out from there. And he's really appreciative of having a warm meal.
Cool. I was about to cut back to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, Jean is not exactly the most charismatic either, so I'd probably be sitting in the background. The only thing he'd really say over the whole conversation was if anybody needed something fixed, he could fix something that's broken for payment for anything. But other than that, he doesn't have a whole lot to trade. Just his skills.
I was going to jump over to Hickok in the barn because the storm reaches the farmhouse at this point. But he stepped away, so we'll continue a little bit more here. Just to let you guys know, in order to wash up, you all had to go into the kitchen. You all did get a chance to see the kitchen. When you explore a little bit, you find that other room across the way is literally an empty room that has barricades in it. It seems to be just a place that they hold up when stuff goes south. The doorway under the staircase is a toilet, basically. It looks like it was probably supposed to be some kind of closet that got converted to a toilet as time passed and indoor plumbing became a thing. The house is quite old, and you don't really have a chance to go upstairs unless you pressed the matter, but since you guys wanted to talk to them, get to know these people, you didn't get a chance to do it. So you haven't been upstairs yet. FYI. Okay. All right. So the dinner ends, and at this point, the storm hits its crescendo over the house. It sounds a lot like what you're hearing down below me here from that. It's like rumble, crash, bang, rumble, slide, sandpaper sound. No, it's all good. It's great sound effects. It's perfect. Rumble, crash, bang, and that was great. Storm. And it just, it's just some like, tin foil or the tin sheets, that kind of stuff. Just your standard storm. The family tries to figure it out. There's so many of you. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs that are not being used by the family. You guys could. There's only 1 bed in each, or there's 2 beds in one room, but they're kids' beds. And then there's a bed in each of the other rooms.
Dingane is fine. He throws down on the floor with a blanket, kind of standing his riot shield and loaded up with the spears, and his main spear kind of just up against the wall. In
the empty reinforced room, or in the
he'll stay down on that ground floor, that empty room right there.
Okay.
Yeah, Pat likes that too with the sandbags and that.
Mm-hmm.
If that's okay with the family.
Oh yeah, that's actually the perfect solution to the problem because they were trying to figure out where everyone was going to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Thomas just pulls out his sleeping bags from his backpack since he has one, and sees little Digane, and Pat is lying down and goes, "Slumber party!" Throws out a sleeping bag next to him and enjoys them, but still holding on to the dog, mind you.
That dog.
Could be eating that dog. I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm beginning to feel sad for the dog.
I think that just solved our sleeping problem.
Okay, so Daxton, he obviously wants to negotiate for one of the rooms upstairs. He did, after all, offer something to them. They accept that, so he gets one of the rooms upstairs. And then, June, you have a choice because you offered something as well. So you get to choose where you want to sleep.
Well, he's going to try and see if he could sleep in one of the beds.
Okay.
Or the more comfortable rooms upstairs.
Right. And because you offered something that's actually quite useful to this family, this computer device that you offered, you don't even know what it was. It was great. You're just like, oh, this computer motherboard. I'm like, that's exactly what this family wants. That's a perfect thing to offer. Yeah. So you get the master bedroom that appears to be an old lady's room that just has that old lady smell and feel, and there's like doilies on everything.
Nice.
Yeah. And Jan, basically there's you and Samson, and there's a kid's room and I'll describe the upper level for those of you that go up there in a minute.
I guess being only 5'4" and 140, he'd actually kind of fit a kid's bed. He'd
Probably do all right.
work.
Probably do
Might
all
be
right.
might be a little tight on the feet, but yeah, he might be able to make it work.
Yeah,
It's more comfortable than curling up under a tree like he's done the last few days.
right? Or curling up with the dog in the main floor with everyone else. Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to wake up being cuddled instead of the dog.
Let me give you a hug.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
boy.
So you get up there, and Samsung tries to sleep in a kid's bed, but he's like twice the size of the bed, and he really can't make it happen. So he just kind of like is super restless for the rest of the evening. We're gonna cut over to the barn. In the barn, the wind is howling. The water starts to leak through a bunch of places in the roof. The electronics seem to be fine. They're kind of protected a little bit by some covers and things. It's cold and it's wet, and there's bright flashes of light. So even if you were to try to sleep, you'd occasionally get this bright flash of light. What do you think about all of this, and what do you want to do about all of this? How do you want to survive this storm?
And is this like some kind of apocalyptic weather anomaly? Like, am I?
Yeah, you tell me what you're going to do, and I'll tell you what starts happening.
And I didn't really get any information from sitting out there. I still think that he would be super careful.
I mean,
So-
that's fine. You can weather it. I'm just asking you how you're going to do it.
I get so I find like the driest spot in the barn.
Okay.
And I realized nobody's coming out here, so I didn't set off any alarms on the inside, even though they have this like electronic equipment. And I get out my sleeping bag, and for some reason I imagine it's one of those mummy ones, so I pull it up all the way to my over my face and everything like that, and try to get some sleep.
Okay. Your sleep, I'll get back to the rest of you because stuff happens for you too. Your sleep is not great. Even if you tried to roll resilience, which I'm not going to have you do because it doesn't matter. Your sleep is not great. The flashes of light do keep you up, so you don't sleep that great. But one of the things that happens is you think that you hear voices, to the point where it startles you so much that you actually get up and look around to think that there are people in the barn. But you don't see anybody. You just hear these voices, and you have these flashes of memory of things that happened, but at the same time, they don't feel like you actually experienced them. So it's like a weird flux of future, past events, and various weird things, and the voices, the sounds of people around you. But none of it is real, as far as you can tell. It just seems to be happening all around you.
So yeah, like all night, kind of setting up, like quick drawing my weapon through the sleeping bag, even though like pointing it in the direction still under the sleeping bag and not seeing anything, or and then I kind of try to go back to sleep, and then do the same thing kind of all night.
Yeah, it's not the greatest sleep. In fact, it's the worst night of sleeping you've ever had before. And you've been through this kind of weird storm before, but nothing to the point where you hear voices and feel like there are people there, but then realize that there aren't people there.
And like, is lightning striking and stuff like that?
Yep, lightning is striking, but it's not striking the ground anywhere near you. Like, it's striking at the far end of the farm or places that are relatively nearby, so that you see it, but not so much to be afraid that it's coming like super close to where you're at. There's also trees on the north end, right, of this whole place. So more than likely, those are going to get struck before the barn will. Is sort of the feeling you get, because they're taller and they're stuff like that. They're higher points than the barn itself. The barn, however, does have a bunch of metal things sticking out of it, so that's another thing to consider. But some of these might channel electricity. Who knows, man? You don't really know what all of these things are.
And like, do I get the sense that the voices or anything are coming out of any of the machinery or anything like that?
They don't appear to be, but why don't you go ahead and roll perception for me to see if you can figure out if they are or if they aren't.
All right. Yeah, a amazing success.
They're for sure not coming from the machines. It's for sure coming from the storm itself, or at least the barn around you or something.
So, yeah, I think I would still try to weather the storm because I want to see what they. Because I'm guessing it was pretty close to evening when we arrived here.
Yeah, it was getting pretty dark outside, especially when it was mentioned before. Like he mentioned the time frame. There was a morning that happened earlier, and now when the others arrived, it was evening, essentially.
So yeah, I think, and then just this restless sleep all night.
Mm-hmm. The night isn't over yet. There's stuff that'll happen, but I'm just giving you an idea of what's happening during the storm.
Cool.
Yep. The rest of you experience something similar to what he's experiencing, but not to the near extreme level. The house creaks. There's some moving. Occasionally, it sounds like people are talking, but at the same time, there's lots of people in the house. Yeah, creaking, exactly. But there's also other people in the house, so it's not quite as frightening to you because it could be from any number of the peoples in the house itself. Nothing that sounds like clearly like it's coming from like Thomas, but Thomas is like looking at the rest of you going like, "Do you guys hear that?" You know, like that kind of thing. None of that like very clear ghostly temporalness. Pat, go ahead and roll intelligence for me.
Ooh, ought to.
Ooh.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, that's an amazing success. There is something temporal. There's some temporal fluctuations in this storm. Something about the past, present, and future all kind of mixing.
I was going to ask that. Is this a very familiar feeling for me? Yeah,
this is something that you have experienced before. It seems to be that this storm is carrying with it some point where timelines converge. It may pass, it may not pass. You're not sure. This is definitely kind of the thing that you've lived through before.
If Tingane isn't awake, I'm just going to wake him up. I'm going to shake his hand, say, yes. Nice knowing you, guy.
This is like
he sits up then. Is there danger? Reaching for his spear and helmet.
No, it's just it's that time thing that I have sometimes. So, if I'm not here in the morning, don't worry about it. We'll run into each other some other time. Just wanted to say it's been a good time, and I'll probably see you again.
This is when his sliders vortex opens and he goes through.
Right? Holy crap! We were with John Rhys Davies the whole time.
Could be nothing at all, but I just wanted to say it's been good. You've been a good friend.
Degane kind of nods and knows that there are many strange things that happens nowadays, so he's kind of almost believes that he may be slipping through time here in a moment. So, okay. It has been a pleasure. If you are not here in the morning, I will see you then.
Again, yes.
Yes.
Oh. For the first
Tingane
time.
is not quite sure if he's understood exactly how that all works, but he's seen stranger things.
Yeah.
not
like,
to show
like my
real life.
binoculars back too, by the way.
Don't worry, they'll be yours again.
Well, Thomas thinks that Pat's leaving, so he's like, "Oh, old man leaves," and he just gives him a hug too. Then that moment.
The one downside is Thomas won't be able to hug himself, so he'll be the only one that escapes this without a hug. Okay, so that starts happening, and then there's this bright flash of light as an arc of lightning comes down and hits a tree outside of the house. It cracks and it falls, and as it does, the ambient lights from some of the electronics in the house go off, and there's like this last spark of electricity that floats through the fence outside that you guys can see through the window because the boards are down, and you see it float through and then just fades.
Whew.
Power's down.
That
Pat,
might not be good.
That pressure on the back of your head stops.
Yeah.
Hickok. That strike of lightning, you're not entirely sure what happened, but there's a strike of lightning, and then the all of the electronics and whistling and buzzing and stuff inside the barn shuts off.
So Hickok kind of like rises to his feet out of his sleeping bag, and he's like, shit, that means somebody's gonna come out here and try to fix this shit. God damn it, son of a bitch. And the storm is still going on.
Yep.
And he kind of like scurries up into the loft and looks out to see if he sees anybody like notice that the shit is off.
It doesn't seem like it, but there's also seemingly no lights or movement in the house at all. Yeah. So you guys inside the house, the power seems to go out. In all of the stuff around just kind of shuts off. There's a silence around the property. There's nothing that seems to be humming, buzzing, whirring, nothing. And the lights are all off everywhere.
Does John get any sense out of this from his sixth sense? Is there any imminent danger here?
There doesn't seem to be anyone sneaking past you, so no.
Okay. Just that things aren't working.
Things are not working. Correct.
Go ahead.
I gotta say, I'd get up, wake up the gentleman beside me, and say something just went down. All the stuff failed, and I'm gonna call out across the top floor to see if we can wake up Graham.
So you go out in the hallway, and
to the doorway anyway.
Yeah, to the doorway to the room you're in, and shout up.
Yeah.
When you do that, Graham is already coming down. And he's dressed in basically the same clothes as he had before. He's just not wearing shoes. He has his rifle with him, and he says, "What just happened? There was a sound, and I couldn't see anything from outside, on the second floor."
I think it was a lightning strike. The power has gone down.
Your perimeter's down. Said I'll take a watch outside if you want me on the porch. And he starts strapping on his boots, and grabs his rifle.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I'm going to need a couple of things to happen. Firstly, I'm going to need to check the barn to see if all of the equipment out there is still on. And then it should be on, but I don't know what's going on. This is a bit strange. A lightning strike shouldn't have shut it down. We have lightning rods all over the property. So why did it go down? The other thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need probably someone to stay here with my family to make sure that nothing happens while I'm out there. And right about then, you guys start hearing the telltale sound of moaning outside the property.
Thomas starts grabbing his gear too. Stands up, starts walking to the door. Goes, time to chop.
The door opens from Jun's room and says, "I'll stay with your family."
Okay. Jen. Oh yeah, you were upstairs, weren't you, Jen?
Yeah. So we were in the upstairs room.
So I failed to realize who you meant by the person you woke up next to you. The person when you woke, like when all this went down and you kind of woke up, the person wasn't in the room with you.
He wasn't there.
No. And so when you come out to the doorway to shout that should be awake, and he's Papa Sanders is coming down out of his room and looking around. The only person up there with you, well, aside from the family, the Lorraine and the kids, is June, as far as you can tell. The other door does not open, but the guy that was in the room with you is not in the room with you.
And what was his name again?
Samson.
Samson. I'll mention that to him. Like Samson's not here either. What's going on? There was a lightning strike. Everything went down. And after he says what he needs, I'll say I'm grabbing my tool belt. I'll be right with you.
Okay. Junior gonna stay with the family.
Grab my repair kit too.
Okay. So June's staying with the family. Jen's going out. Thomas, you're gonna go out or?
Okay. Thomas is going out to the porch, stand guard with his axe and shield.
So kind of technically staying with the family, but at the porch. Okay. Old Pat, you said you were gonna go outside with your rifle.
Yep, that's true.
And Dingane, you are doing what?
Since there's somewhat familiar moaning, I'm actually going to go with them to provide cover on the trek to the barn, so that they make it there okay. Since it seems the house looks to be covered, so he helmet, shields up, and
so you guys are taking your time. Hickok, the barn door opens slowly and carefully. Nothing seems to happen, but then I'm assuming you take a vantage point to see the door opening, or are you looking the other way toward the house? Jeremy?
My fault. My buddy was talking to me. You said, am I looking towards the house or at the doorway?
Yeah, are you looking at the house or the door to the barn? Because they're on opposite sides.
Do I hear any of that moaning or anything like that?
You do hear the moaning. You hear the moaning before they do. The moaning starts almost immediately after all the power goes out, but it gets louder and louder. But the door to the barn is now starting to open. You haven't seen anything yet, but you just hear the moaning.
All right, so as the barn door starts to open, I say, hold it right there. I've got my guns trained on you right now.
When you do, as you say that, into the barn quickly moves 2 robotic sentries. There's one who's quite large and bulky with decently thick armor. He has a rifle in his hand, and a smaller one that also has a gun, but it's a smaller weapon. And they both come in and start looking around for the sound of the voice. How stealthy are you being?
Well, preemptively, I guess. I would have, as soon as I seen that it wasn't a person, I would have taken a shot.
Okay. So not super stealthy.
No.
Got it. Okay. So let's do shenanigans. That's right. It was not a very good roll, so he fails. And okay, cool. But what is the scout's perception? Oh, the scout doesn't have it, so I have to roll disadvantage. Oh, it's the same. Okay, cool. All right, so you take a shot. So you're going to just shoot at one of them. They're surprised because they don't expect you to shoot. Okay. So what I need from you is for you to roll your attack. They don't get to dodge. So you go ahead and roll for me one of your attacks, which is the 2d10s, the D100.
Yeah, you just got a regular success.
Okay, that's fine, because like I said, they don't get to dodge, so that's a hit. And you're just going to injure one of them. Which one did you want to aim for, the weaker armored one or the heavier armored one?
Whichever one came into my line of vision first.
It would have been the heavy armored one, because he came in first. Cool. So
I got max damage.
Ooh. So how much damage did you do?
It is 15.
15. Okay. Health, armor. Okay, 15. Minus 15. Okay, so your bullet goes in, strikes something inside. There's some sparks as things get damaged. And they get to now try to see you. Well, you shot first, so that was already a thing. So, okay. They, yeah. So the next action, we're going to do, so initiative here. I did not write down anyone's initiative because I was dumb. What is your initiative? Hickok?
It is 8.
Okay. fine with me. And then Omni Shot. His is 15. Okay, and then the other robo. Cool.
Oh shit. Oh wait, do I have to declare that I'm using hollow points?
Nope, it's a special ability. You automatically get it.
So
You rolled the wrong.
I
set of
rolled the
dice.
wrong damage. Yeah,
Well, what did you roll the damage that's on the character sheet?
I rolled extreme damage.
Yeah, that is the damage.
Okay, that's already
Yeah,
already there.
That's already
Okay.
calculated. Yep. So that was the correct damage. Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to throw in the chat what your initiative is, then that would be fine. Or do it like that, where he did
Yeah.
it in the name. That's actually really helpful.
Popped it right up there. I figure, hey, that's right up top. Might be visible. It's kind of a neat system. It's first time using Zoom.
Yeah. Severe surprise, so -5. -5, cool. All right, so next order of business in this combat here. Omnishot gets to fire. He didn't see you, so he's just going to fire blindly. He doesn't really care. It's like at all about any of this. So he's just going to go ahead and fire blindly. And he got a 0-0-1. So unfortunately, that means he hit. 0-0-1. Yikes. He is not using the electrified club. He is using... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong character. That's why. Auto rifle. 1d6. +3. Okay, so 7 damage from his wild shot, which you can take to your armor, and then whatever's left goes to you. Cool. I guess we're cool.
Yeah, where?
Now it's your
where's
action.
My hit points. Where are they? Because it
Should be down towards the bottom of the front page. Unless I have a different character sheet layout.
No, his is the same as yours. It's right underneath the resilience. There's a section for health points. There's a max of
there it
11
is.
in your
I
case.
see it.
Yep.
I see it.
You have an armor of 5.
Yep. So I took 2 damage.
2 damage. Yep. And your armor is now kaputzoed.
0. Yep.
So you're gonna want to handle this fight somehow. Okay. We're gonna do one more round of combat. So it's your action, and then we'll do another round, a full round, and then we'll jump to these other guys because then it'll be about the time that they start coming out. All right. So it's your action. What do you want to do?
All right. So because I'm holding 2 weapons, does that give me like an extra attack or anything like that?
You get the option of multi-attacking, so you can shoot twice. You just have to roll disadvantage on both shots.
All right. So for the first shot, right, 10's die is the one that you double up on, right?
Correct. Yep.
For the first shot, it is just a regular success. 83, both of them, literally 80.
Okay.
And then a regular. Oh wait, 100 on the other one. So it's a crit fail.
Failure. Ooh, crit fail.
Second one.
Okay then. Well, so that is a no dodge. But he got hit at least once. So second shot just was like completely wild, and something happens. I have to pull it up in the list of the cool, crazy things that happen when you crit fail or crit succeed. I didn't crit success on you because that would be really shitty for you to like get your head blown off in the first shot. Just throwing that out there.
I died in the first room of the dungeon I played earlier, so.
All right, so go ahead and roll for me a d6.
2.
2. So the gun breaks in the process. The bullet explodes inside of the chamber. It's broken. It is not repairable until the end of the combat is over. So you can take time to repair it. You just can't repair it right now. Like if you had the skills or you had somebody with the skills, you couldn't fix it right now. It's broken. So that gun is.
Damn it! And I put it back in my. I put it in my holster and.
Cool. But you did get hit. You did hit with the other shot. So go ahead and roll damage for me. Because he missed his dodging.
Say that again.
Go ahead and roll your damage on that first strike because you did hit.
This time it's only 9.
That's fine. It's still 9. That's 9 more than before. Just saying. Okay. All right. The other guy, it turns out he didn't have a small rifle. He had a electrified club, so he'll have to climb up and find you to get you with the club. So you're safe from that smaller guy, but the bigger guy has a gun that fires widely. Next combat round begins. So the order goes Omnishot, then the other one, the scout, and then you. You're actually the last in the order because they're robots and they have processor units. Omnishot's going to fire wild again. He's doing so at disadvantage. So we'll do that. He gets a 22 as his worst number. Why don't you go ahead and roll for... You're going to dodge, I assume. So you go ahead and roll your dodge.
All right. Sorry, the baby's crying. Where's my dodge at?
It's on your character sheet. It's directly next to the shield. If you're looking at it, there's defensive actions. Dodge is the first one.
Oh, I see it. I see. And that is a fail.
Okay. Well, you're gonna get hit then.
Well, wait. I guess I would full dodge, right?
You can.
So,
yeah, you could full dodge. Yeah.
Yeah. So success, just equal to is still a success, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So you're gonna you -5. So you just take one action this combat round, but you do get out of the way of the shot. The other one starts to climb up the ladder. That's his action. So the other, and so now it's your action. You do get an action.
Is the ladder like attached?
Why don't you go ahead and roll luck for me?
Fail.
I'm gonna give it to you anyway because I want you to. Go ahead. Yeah, it's not attached.
I knock it down.
Okay, cool. So he's got to make a roll to dodge his falling. He does not. Okay, so he hits the ground pretty heavily. That was actually resilience, so he failed. Cool. So he hits the ground, and there's a whammo. He got a 34, and his resilience is 25. So he just clunk, and he's going to take. Wow, 5 points of damage. Nice. Okay. -5. There's some sparks and some servos seem to make a weird crunching grind noise, but he's still functional. Let's see. So you did that. He's down. That was your action. It now becomes Omnishot's action. He can see you, but there's a blinding flash of light, so he's going to roll at disadvantage again. And he fails, so he misses in his shot. Goes wild. It hits the wall over behind your head, and then the one on the ground manages to get himself up, and that's going to be his action. And then you can act here now. Wait, no, sorry, you don't get to act. Omnishot acts. Firing again. This is quick combat. And 85. I think fails. Yep, fails. Okay. All right, second shot goes wild. Cool. Now, it is the end of this come round. We're going to jump to the other guys because they start hearing this gunfire as they come out to find out what's going on. Note, you guys get 2 actions. I failed to mention this. You get 2 complex actions that you can do. You can move and shoot. You can take aim and attack. You can do things like that. The dual wielding is considered 2 actions because you're shooting twice. So that's how that works. Cool. All right. So you
Can
guys
you-
that came out.
Can you dual wield a sword and a knife?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. Depends on the sword, of course. If it's a two-handed sword, then you can't. But if it's like a smaller sword, then you can.
Is katana a
katana
two-handed?
is a two-handed sword. Yeah, it's in the description
Gotcha.
itself that says it requires two hands to use.
Gotcha.
Yep. But if you had like a smaller sword, a short sword, or something, and a dagger in the other hand, you could totally do that. Because there's two levels to that. Like if you had a hatchet and another hatchet, you could totally do that. Okay. So you guys that came out, what do you want to do?
I would assume we'd move towards the gunfire. I mean, we did need to head to the barn, but if there's shots coming from there,
There's
then,
definitely shots coming from the barn.
yeah, I'll kind of look over at them, kind of scan the distance between them, or between the home and the barn. Is it kind of filled up, or does it look?
It seems
clear.
relatively empty, but you can also see in the trees just to the east of it movement, which is also where the sounds are coming from.
Okay. He's gonna not use anywhere near all of his movement. I could probably make the barn. He's just gonna run out of ways and kind of or just sprint ahead and kind of crouch down and stand there, set with the riot shield up, kind of watching the tree line.
So here's the deal. The entryway inside was on the opposite end of the house, right? The gate.
Oh,
So you're gonna have to climb over the fence with razor wire, or you have to go around.
Yeah, probably go around.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Take the gate and we'll make a run for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Dingane actually has some pretty decent movement. He's got some heavy moves, so he could actually get to the gate really quick and then open it and be out of the gate and come and probably halfway around the house. Right?
Yeah, the
fence.
fleet-footed
Yep.
gives him
before
that
the
whole
rest-
extra move chunk.
Yeah, before the rest of you guys can get to the gate. So he's got that extra distance. But he
Yeah,
said he was going to
I'm
slow
more
down.
looking-
So
Yeah, I'm more looking to go in the way of kind of setting up like here's a safe zone before we move on to move on again. So he's more in like the
So-
cover position, forward cover you could call it.
So like
Yeah.
open the gate and then wait for the rest while you sit there with your shield, and then
Yeah,
the rest get to
shield
you, and then you
spear
move on.
mounted up.
I'll yell as we follow Dingane. I'll yell at old Pat and Thomas and anybody else on there that you guys close this gate. We're following him, and look at Graham and say, "Come on, let's get out there quick." That just doesn't sound good.
Gunfire. Pew 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 pew. Okay, so are any of you guys? Well, June's staying. He said that. Pat, are you gonna go with him, or are you gonna stay?
Pat will take up Overwatch.
Okay. And Thomas, you gonna stay or go?
Thomas will stick with Pat.
Okay.
You,
So-
you shield.
All right. So you guys are gonna hang out of the house and be defensive post.
Question.
Yeah.
When we come in the afternoon, the roof there with the balconies on it,
Mhm.
do one of them face back towards the barn?
Yep. There's one on every side.
As I'm going down the porch, I'll look at old Pat and say, "You might want to take that rifle up on one of them balconies. We're going about behind the house."
Is a thought.
Yeah. I can't do it. I can't shoot for distance for crap. But that's just.
Well, and Pat has a rifle, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is definitely helpful in the case of the barn. That would be a long distance shot, shooting at the barn, but at least you would have that distance that you could cover.
or even cover for us on the way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
As
I'll
you,
move upstairs then.
okay.
I'll give you a better advantage.
You come upstairs. When you get to the top of the stairs, the south-facing one, is directly at the top of the staircase. So you get to the top of the staircase. There's a door that leads out to that balcony. You get out there and you find that it's a balcony that's reinforced with sandbags and heavy wood, much like the oak door of the house. And there's a spotlight to the left, but it's a square block that's above. So you can take up a position and sort of keep watch. And as you
Now,
do,
did you say this balcony wraps all the way around?
it doesn't. So that's the 4 balconies stick out from the house, but they don't connect to each other.
Okay.
That was what I was saying before. So you'd have to essentially. There's probably other doors just like the one you came through on the other parts of the house.
Okay, I'm going to go to the corner of the balcony where I can kind of keep an eye on the gate and on the farm, if that's possible.
You can kind of keep on like one side of the house on either side, like halfway, but you can't get to the gates directly on the opposite side of the house
Right.
from you. Yep.
Okay.
So you can't watch the gate, but you can watch the sides of the house. They'll catch up to your ability to guard them really quickly, especially with
Right.
Dingana's movement.
Yeah, I just wanted to maximize my exposure there.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally can do it. I mean, based on what you saw, which way they might be going, you can basically figure it out and like aim and protect. Yeah, totally fine. I will accept that. So, June, which room are you going to go into? Where it's,
Well, I asked the kids. It's like, hey, kids, do you guys have a safe room here?
the basement is pretty safe.
All right. Without talking further, let's go down there.
Okay.
And he leads the family and leads them down to the basement.
Make a perception roll for me as you go down.
I rolled 85, so I'm pretty sure that's a fail.
Okay. Good to know. The mom is with you, Lorraine, and the 2 kids, Emery and Adrian, and they head down toward the basement with you. I'll finish up with you in a moment. The rest of you guys, those of you that are traveling outside. Thomas, are you going to stay on the porch then? That's where you're going to be? Sentry there?
Yeah, I'm gonna just stand by the front door, just standing there with my shield and axe out.
With the dog by your side? Doing the...
Yeah.
Yep.
Keeping the doggo probably on my shoulder still.
Yeah, you're pretty big, but I mean, not super big, but you're still pretty big.
Yeah.
You're pretty damn big. Okay, so the rest of you guys, as you come around the house, so Pat, you see movement that comes out of the trees, and it's starting to come onto the field. You guys come around the east or west side, whichever side you chose, and you see that coming out of the trees on the east side. Which way would you have gone, east or west, do you think? The pathway was north, so you could have chosen it either way.
From basically the little map that I've drawn from what you've described, I'd say east around the fence line, because that's where I've placed the box for the barn.
Yeah, I mean, it was southeast because that's where Hickok came from, and he got to it first. So totally fine with me.
That's where I had it.
Yep.
I kind of had it off in that quadrant. Yep.
That's where I have it too on my map. So good job. Okay. Cool. So you guys go east then. Well, as you're coming around the side of the house, you're about halfway across the pathway. You see people coming out of the trees. They very clearly have chunks coming off of their body, little bits of skin dripping down from their arms, and their torsos are relatively exposed in that they have torn torsos and their guts sort of hanging out. But mostly it's their faces that are torn, that are really badly torn, and they're dripping blood all the way down their shirts and their clothing. There's a decent amount of them. There's not too many of them, but there's more than there are you guys. There are 13 of them coming out of the trees. Not together, exactly. They're clearly starting to have this ability to notice the other ones around them, but they were spending a lot of time being disoriented because of the stuff in the barn, so they're still working that back out. But there's 13 of them. They're not directly in front of you, so you could probably take some movement actions to get out of the way, maybe some athletics to jump around one that swipes at you if you decide to ignore them. But there are monsters coming out of the trees, essentially. Pat, you have Overwatch, and you are keeping an eye on their path. That was what you said you were doing. So you've been sort of keeping watch on this. You see them coming out of the trees first. How do you want to act?
I'm going to yell deaders. Deaders!
Okay, you guys are warned. There are deaders in the way.
And then I'm going to line up a shot at anyone that's fastly approaching part of my team.
Okay. And right.
All right. I'm just gonna keep that shield kind of in between the two guys with me as best I can.
Okay. These guys are moving really, really slowly. You like Dingane, everyone moves slowly to you, but these guys are moving really slow.
That's right. That's right. So
you
could I
could
potentially
just go around them if you wanted to.
I was gonna say, could I potentially kind of rush up to the closest one, wing out with the spear, and then move back to still stay cover? Or are they close enough for him to do that kind of movement?
Yeah, I mean, you could get up to them, whack them, and then back off again relatively quickly. But it would be,
I think that's multiple complex.
That would be 2. That would be 3 actions rather than 2. So you get 2 options.
I'll just move up to the closest one, post down, and take him out. That'll at least be more of a target draw, hopefully for the others. And they're not going to move.
Are you going to be using an offensive or defensive stance?
I'm going in with the offensive stance.
Okay.
For starters.
Why not? Put everything into it.
All right. Oh, hopefully the thing just falls down. That's the hope. All right, so.
I mean, it is.
Oh, thank God for that advantage. So that's a 35.
Okay.
Which is, not quite. Nope, it's just a regular success. Oh no, I'm sorry. That is a good success, or the half.
The great success.
Yeah, great success.
2 degrees, as it were.
Yep, 2 degrees. That's right. That's what I was thinking.
Well, he got 53 on his dodge, and his dodge is 27, so that's a complete failure.
Right.
Just absolute failure, and so you hit him.
All right, this is really going to hurt with offensive stance. So that is going to be 17 damage.
Ow. Yeah. So you just describe to me how you kill this zombie man.
He rushes up and plants the shield down on the ground and kind of wings the spear around, using it as a slashing weapon, and just kind of on the first pass, it just kind of half opens the thing's head back and it starts to roll back. Maybe the dead muscle's still kind of catching and trying to pull it forward. And as the second one comes by, it kind of cleans through half the skull that topples over. And then he thumps it with his shield and knocks the thing the rest of the way over.
Nice.
And looks and sets his sights on the next one.
Yep. Absolutely dead. That was dead more than it could be dead. It is dead again.
I did roll really high for damage.
I mean, yeah. His health points are definitely lower than that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. All right. Then it's Jan, it's your action.
I'm going to take advantage of his high movement and guarding stance, and I'm going to tell Grandma we can't outrun him, and we better get into the barn and figure out what's going on. We need to get in there, so I'm going to head off towards the edge of the barn.
Okay, so you're just going to try to bypass the zombies as you go?
Yep, I'll avoid them and head towards the barn.
Okay. Yeah, they're really slow. So why don't you go ahead and just do 1 athletics roll for me with like advantage. Actually, we'll do double advantage, so you get a +5 and advantage, because they're so slow and you're just trying to just move past them. So you're gonna kind of shove them a little bit too along the way.
That's strength. Okay.
I know it's not your best number.
Well, it's a good thing you gave me the 5. I barely passed because I've only got a strength of 25, and I got a 24 with the +5.
Nice. Nice. Okay.
Oof.
Cool. So, sorry, there's a thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, you totally get past them without there being a problem. And then Graham is the same. He got a 002, so he just breezed past them as well. So he was good to go. So you guys make it past them, and you're heading toward the barn. Dingane, you're essentially got these guys. Old Pat, you've got them in your sights too. you don't see, or I mean, you can see the other guys getting toward the barn. They don't seem to be threatened by any of the other debtors coming out of the trees. That's mostly Dingane at this point, dealing with those guys because they pushed past them and broke through. And we'll get to you guys in a moment. Pat, you get another. I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna let you guys take more actions to the end of this combat round, and then we'll move on to the next group. Pat, you're up next. You have been taking aim. You can keep taking aim. You now have 2 advantage. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Amazing success.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll go ahead and give a guy a dodge, and he fails. Okay. All right, so you nailed him for how much?
7.
7. Okay, cool. So your shot tears into his flesh, takes off a chunk of his neck. Blood goes splattering, not toward Dingane, just in general. But he's still alive. He just got a large chunk of his neck taken off. Still alive, but he's...
I'm going for maximum spray. That's
nice.
We'll just aerosolize that blood.
Yeah, why not? Spread the Z virus, whatever. It's cool. Dingane, it's your action.
Yeah, just move to whatever the next closest one is to them, and same thing. He just gives it a whip or kind of swings that spear around again.
Okay.
Oh. No, even with advantage, my best roll is a 78. I need a 75. I missed.
That's cool.
He cuts through the air like a knife.
Yeah.
Or a wild flung spear.
By the way, to be clear, the multi-attack has changed a little bit. So you get the option of multi-attacking. Other people don't get the option of multi-attacking, right, with the spear and whatnot. So that would be 2 actions to multi-attack. Yep.
I wasn't actually planning to multi-attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just making sure that you knew that it changed a little bit from the last time you played, where you didn't just get to multi-attack every time. You can multi-attack. You just that would be your actions.
Yeah, no, just the move in the one swing.
Cool.
It just misses through.
All right, and the zombies, they were supposed to have gone before, but they didn't go before, so I'm just going to say they keep shambling towards you, and that's what they've been doing, so that's their total actions. Old Pat, you get to act again. You actually have some more initiative. You're muted again.
I'm old. That's that's a hit.
We didn't have these computer muting devices when I was around.
I need that TSR. What was it? TSR 17 that you said? I got that 6-bit processing going on.
The TI 74, I think is what I said.
The Tandy ones.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's another 6 points.
Okay, so success, and it was 6 points. You said.
Yeah.
See if he dodged. No, 82 is not a dodge. That is nowhere near their dodge level. So you said 6.
Yeah.
That'll kill him. All right, so he goes down. That second shot just hits him squarely in a place. You tell me where he gets hit, but then he's going to go down.
We're doing an eye shot.
Okay, cool. Blasts through his eye, blows out the back of his head.
Yeah.
He just
and down he goes.
Flops over and to the ground goes.
Yeah. We're just going to keep it simple.
Nice.
I'm a simple man.
Clean.
Just a simple kill.
Nice, clean, dead zombie. Yeah, it's perfect. Cool. And then Jan and those guys are going to take their actions to get toward the barn. They will arrive at the barn at the end of Jeremy's second combat round. So they're all going to arrive right then, as Jeremy has just gotten shot at a few times and they missed, and all of a sudden people are coming up behind them. So that'll mix things up for Hickok and the men in the barn. But as one of them is away, we'll jump to June and Thomas. So Thomas, there's a bunch of gunfire and stuff happening on the other side of the house. Nothing on your side yet. But you do see you do hear the moaning, and you see movement toward the north in the trees.
Okay. Is the gate still open?
The gate is still open, because I'm pretty sure in the frantic panic to get to the other side of the house, they didn't really think, oh, let's close it up and lock it behind ourselves.
Then Thomas is just gonna lumber over to the gate now and just kind of stand on Overwatch right there. Make sure everyone has a safe route back.
Smart.
Prepares
I like your thinking. You do see some zombies coming out of the trees in front of you. And why don't we just have a combat with you and some zombies? How about that? What your initiative is? What now? I don't see it on your name. 'Cause I can't see your
4?
full name. 4?
I think if I read it right, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Thomas is right. Thomas is slow. I forgot about that.
Which is a big old man with a
Yeah,
heavy gear.
He's a big, heavy dude. Right. Which is interesting because you and the zombies have the same initiative. Let's see. Which one?
I'll hug you to death.
What is your agility? Your agility is 15. Their agility is 20. They get to go before you.
Oh no.
But that's fine because they have to take a while to get out of the trees and get to you. So they're going to take their action getting out of the trees and getting to you. There's 3 of them. They're coming towards you. They get to roughly close enough to the fence that it becomes your action before they can do anything. What do you want to do?
Tom's just thinking about making sure keep gate open and safe. So he's gonna do a riposte, or what's that called?
So
the defensive stance, you think?
Oh, so the riposte is a defensive action. When you get attacked, you can take that action.
Oh, I see.
It's one of the defensive actions you get to take. So you can riposte, you can parry, or you can dodge. Those are your 3 combat defensive actions. So anytime you get attacked, you can make a choice as to which of those you're going to take.
Okay.
Riposte requires some initiative. So you don't have you're not a Ronin, so you don't have the martial stance thing like he's got, where he can take defensive.
Oh, that explains
stance.
it.
Yep.
And you said the zombies are getting close to the fence, but not there yet.
So they're getting close to you. They're close enough to you that you could like move and attack them if you wanted to, but they're short range from you right now.
Okay. Then Thomas is gonna raise his shield, and charge him. Good. Try to go for the closest zombie.
Yeah, that's fine with me. So you're basically gonna move and attack them. Because you're moving and attacking them in the same motion, you get advantage on your attack.
Sweet.
Yep.
Let me see. And I roll a D8.
So you're rolling two. So you're rolling 2 D10s, right? These guys are percentiles. You're gonna roll those, and you're gonna try to get below your attack number, which in your case I think is pretty high. It's like 75 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. I got a 1.
70. Oh, hey, that's awesome. All right, so you got a 1. That's a critical success, my friend. That means you get to roll on the critical success table. So let me pop it open real fast because I closed it because we were done with that section. All right, so go ahead and roll your damage for me, just normally anyway, and then I'll tell you, and then we'll determine what happens outside of that.
Okay. Was damage a D8? Or
Let's see. Let me pull up Thomas real fast. So your damage for I assume you're attacking with the hatchet, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's a devastating hex, so it's 2d8 plus 7 is what you're rolling.
2d8 plus 7.
Yeah, you're going to roll 2 d8s, and then you're going to add 7 to that total number.
All right. Fine. So I got a 9 plus... What was the...
7.
The addition? 7?
So 16.
All right.
Which is enough to kill a zombie, but also roll for me another d10, and I'm going to tell you what kind of cool, crazy thing happens.
All right. Got a 6.
6. So your attack cleanly passes through the target, causing an extra 1d6 damage to an enemy nearby. So within close or short range, and there are close damage. So you do your 16 damage, which kills this zombie, and you can describe how it dies. And then you're going to do 1d6 to a nearby zombie, as your chop just goes through him and hits somebody else.
Well, as Thomas just bull rushes the nearest zombie, puts his arm straight out and starts swinging the hatchet, and with the momentum of that weight, he just goes straight through the skull like it's paper, and just keeps moving and just hits the zombie right behind him.
Yeah,
he runs into it.
So the head comes off of the one, it's just flies backwards, and then just keep going through it to hit the other guy for 1d6. Yeah, go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
D6. Got a 2.
Okay, so you hit him for 2. So you get him in like the shoulder or something. Pretty
Oh.
decent hit, but not enough to kill it. Right. Cool. And that's the end of that combat round because you guys don't have very much initiative. All right, jumping over to June. So you guys get down into the lower half of the house, and you come into the kitchen and you find Dax. Oh no, I'm sorry, you don't find Daxton. He's not there yet. You come around and you get to the kitchen, and the kids open the door to the basement. As you open the door, you see blood leading down the stairs.
All right, he holds up his hand and says, "Maybe it was a bad idea to go down this way. Let's go back up," and leads the kids back into the bedroom where they were.
Okay, so you take them back up the stairs. When you get back up the stairs, you're heading back up the stairs. Go ahead and roll perception for me again on your way back up the stairs. Pat, you can also roll perception for me, by the way, because you're upstairs.
97 is no clue.
Nope.
37.
Is that a success?
That's a success.
Cool. Pat, you hear somebody talking in the balcony to the west of the house. It doesn't sound like a language you've heard before, but it sounds like a human, but it doesn't sound like a language you know. Yeah, I mean, you're still in the middle of this, or this combat's going on. You have ended your combat. You can break from this and find out what's going on. But meanwhile, June comes up the stairs at about the same moment, and you lead them into the east side of the house where they have their bedroom. They're the middle bedroom, the kids.
I tell Pat that I saw blood downstairs.
You shout that to Pat as you
Yeah.
go by. Yep. So Pat, you while you're sitting there taking aim and shooting and stuff, you hear the talking over there, and then you hear something about blood.
I go, what? What blood?
There's blood downstairs, and it's leading into the basement.
Oh, okay. You got the kids.
I got the kids. The kids are going back into their bedroom.
It's okay. Hey, check the balcony next to me.
Yeah, so that's the directly across from you, the balcony that would be somehow accessible from that side.
Okay. And I tell the kids, lock the door. Don't open it up for anybody except for myself or Pat. And he runs across to the other balcony.
Okay, so you do know the room you were in had a door to the balcony. That was one of the things, and you probably checked it out maybe when you got into the room. So you know that there's a door to the balcony in the room that you were staying in. And
so
if you checked it out, you also know there's another door in the other room. So it doesn't really matter which room you go into on either ends. They both had doors that went out to the balcony.
yeah. So he's gonna go to the closest one.
Let's see. What is his luck? What is June's luck?
Luck is 5. Luck is 4.
Oh, that's luck use per game. That's a different thing entirely. Luck is 30. Because you have 30, so you should have 3, but you have the lucky stars, lucky mutation. 9, you succeed. I rolled it for you.
Okay.
So the room you ended up going through was the room that that Daxton was in, and as you do, you see a bunch of stuff, and of that stuff, there's a lot of xenotech, like a lot of alien technology, amongst this, like these trinkets and things he has spread out on this table in the room. Do you stop to look, or do you keep going?
I stop to look.
Okay. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, and you note that there are some bags with component pieces, but they have like weird alien markings on them. Not sure what's going on there, but there's just a bunch of like organic materials and pieces of alien tech, possibly a weapon, possibly a something else. You don't have xenotechnology as a skill that you're proficient in, correct?
No. I don't
No.
think so. No.
Because you're not really you didn't survive the alien apocalypse or anything, or the alien invasion. Why don't you go ahead and roll it for me? It's going to be based on your instinct, which is 30.
61.
Okay. I think that disadvantage is going to just make that worse. So you fail. None of this looks familiar. You have no idea how any of this is supposed to be used.
He says, "What the hell is this?"
But you can definitely hear the talking now from out there, and there's two voices on the balcony that you can hear. One of which sounds a little bit like Daxton, but it's in a language you don't understand, and the other one does not sound like Daxton at all. In fact, it doesn't sound human.
Okay. He situates himself right next to the balcony. He's like hiding right next to the wall to take a look at the outside and trying to figure out how many are there.
Okay. You also have, by the way, the same thing that Dingane has. You have the ability to choose an offensive or defensive stance. The offensive stance will give you advantage on your attack rolls, and it gives you a +1 extra damage to attack. A defensive stance gives you advantage to your defensive rolls. So you can choose which stance you want to be in when you're standing there.
When he's standing there, he's going to go into defensive.
Okay. So yeah, so you'll have advantage on your defensive actions. Cool. So you're standing there. When you look out, you can see Daxton and 5 aliens, 2 of which are larger, wearing exoskeletal armor, as it's called. They're really big, and they have these sort of plates that come off. And then it's all organic material. It looks like skin on top of skin and muscle on top of muscle. And then there are 2 or 3 smaller ones between them that just look like normal aliens with just some sort of face mask to protect them from the oxygen that they breathe. But otherwise, they're just looking like themselves, and they have just little blaster things in their hands that appear to be guns in the way that they're shaped and designed. The bigger soldier guys also have what appear to be these sort of gun things that are like a rifle-ish. That's what you guess from it. And there's some kind of bone thing sticking off across their back. And then Daxton is standing there. And they're talking. And that's what you see.
All right. He makes his way quietly out of that room.
Backing up or going forward?
Backing up where he came from.
Okay. All right. So you're backing it up. And you get outside into the hallway. You've got Pat there to your left, and the kids behind you.
By the way, as he's going out, he closes the door and tries to barricade it.
Ooh, okay, cool. Cool. All right, so we're going to jump to the barn. And then we'll go back to Dingane and old Pat and that fight that's going to be happening. Jumping to the barn now, we have Hickok Earp, who showed up just in time to be part of this conversation. I was literally coming back to you, Jeremy, so it was...
I was actually back before that and forgot to type anything in the thing.
That's cool. Okay, so back to the fight in the barn. Hickok, based on the fact that you're 8'3", and I didn't put any stats for him, so we'll just say he's less than that. Okay, so you guys are going to act together, and the robots will go before you. That's good to know. You're in the barn. You've just had some shots hit the ceiling behind your head, and before you can really do anything, you're just sort of assessing what's happening. 2 people appear behind the robots. It is the robots' turn to act. They are going to turn, and the one with the rifle is going to wildly shoot. However, a 76 does not work, so he's going to take a second shot. 57 may. Yes, it does. Okay. Okay, so there's 2 of you. John, what is your luck there? Dean, what's John's luck?
Luck is 40.
Okay, go ahead and roll that for me and decide whether... I'm going to determine whether or not you got shot or your NPC got shot.
Sorry, I missed that. I got a jumbled.
Oh, so your you're going to roll luck for me, and if you succeed, then the NPC gets shot. Or you got shot, however you want to play it. That's fine with me. I don't care.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Straight up 30.
Yep.
Is what I rolled. I
Oh.
got a 40.
Cool.
So
You're the lucky one. Did you get shot or did he get shot? I know it's a hard one, isn't it?
I'll say he shot at me.
Okay, cool. So you are going to take 8 damage to your armor, or well, to your armor. It's 8 damage to you total. Some of it will go to your armor, some of it will go to you.
Do I get a chance to dodge that or no?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. You totally do, and it's just 1 degree of success. I'm sorry. I totally failed to think about that. 'Cause I was just thinking about the luck.
Dodge. Dodge is 62.
Okay.
And whoa, that was close. 56.
Okay, yeah. So you wait. You guys match.
My dodge is 62.
Yeah, but it's 1 degree of success, and so you guys match. So you're gonna take 8.
Oh, okay, good enough.
Yep.
Where am I? Here in armor.
15. Scout is 10. 5, and then Jan and Hickok. Your armor.
Kevlar vest for 5, so I take 3 of that. Correct.
Correct. Yep, and your armor is shot.
Yep.
Okay. And then the scout guy is going to come in for an attack on the NPC, and oh shit. Okay, so the NPC is going to try to dodge. And okay, he gets hit with an electric club. There's a shocking sound, like a, and the NPC goes down. He seems to be unconscious. Yeah. There's also some burn marks in his chest, because robots play for keeps. Okay, Hickok, it's your action.
So Hickok kind of calls out. He says, "After I'm done with them, I'll deal with you." Talking to John, and I'll see how you want to. I'll tell you my intention. So I want to take a shot at the one that seems to be the most damaged and jump on from the like wrestling style, like drop kick, whichever one is close enough to do that too, if I can.
So it's kind of you're kind of doing like a movement-ish action. I guess it's an attack, move attack thing, and a shot. So it's technically 2 attacks. We'll call it.
So I'm imagining something similar to that part in the Boondock Saints whenever he hops down with the toilet. Something like that.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine with me. So I'll just call it 2 attacks and not a movement, because I just falling off the upper level, I guess, is what we're gonna call that. So you go ahead and make 2 attacks, and they're not expecting either one because they're currently looking away from you, and they're not expecting you to jump down. So just go ahead and roll the attacks for me.
So this first one is the firearms, and that is an amazing success.
Even if they did dodge, okay.
And then what do you want for this next one? A strength?
No, it's just an attack again. It's just gonna be a brawl attack. Because
I don't have it. So
you're gonna be rolling. It's gonna be your fighting skill at disadvantage.
Fighting.
It's right above ballistic skill on your stats.
It might not have came through on the printing.
Let me look real fast, because I'm pretty sure it's there. Gunslinger, Hickok. Yeah. So it's the third to last one on the left hand side of their stats. There's strength, fortitude, agility, intelligence. There's one called fighting skill.
Oh, my bad.
Yep.
All right. So at disadvantage, this has happened twice tonight. 98 for both of the rolls anyway. So almost a crit fail.
Almost a crit fail, but not a crit fail. So the shot will do its damage, and then Then the jumping down to sort of hit them misses, so you just kind of fall into the hay at the bottom and dirt. It'll be fine. You won't have to take any damage because you were trying to attack them, but you don't hit them. So go ahead and roll the firearms damage for me to the one that's most damaged, which I guess be the right one. That would make sense.
10.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, so the light armored one goes down. Its servos crack and pop, and there's an electrical spark that comes out of it as your bullet penetrates home and hits its battery pack. It just shuts down as it falls, and then your jump kicking and your drop kick misses the bigger one.
So this is what it looked like, if it's okay for you.
Go for it.
I kind of run over, and like go to make like a diving leap, and I get that initial shot off,
And it's solid.
and then realize that the dive isn't the best option for the drop kicking of the robot that's below me, and try to kind of angle my body in the air and just kind of fall flat onto the floor.
Yep, I accept that. Nice land. Perfect. Cool. So you at least took the one down in the process. So there's that. Jen, it is now your action, and the smaller one that tased your buddy just went and went down.
This is not a good thing for me, so I'm gonna take a pistol shot at him, and I don't have a good ability at that. And then I'm gonna step back out around the door.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna take a shot here and hope for the best. And that's not gonna do it. That's a 57, and I've only got a 40.
Shot goes wild. Haycock inside a bullet goes whizzing past you on the ground there. It's just a wild shot. Seems to hit the ground and kick up some dirt.
That guy's big! And I try and hide behind the door and pull it till closed a little bit.
It's one attack. It's one action, and then you move around. That's a second action, so you're fine.
Yep.
Cool. Cool. So there's that. So Omnishot gets to act. It starts walking to come out from behind, and it searches for you because you went and kind of hid. It does get a success though, so it sees you, so it can attack you on its next action, but it doesn't have an action now because it did 2.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy's dead. Okay, Hickok is on the ground and gets an action. But the Robo-Servo kind of walked away, and he's now kind of around the corner a bit. So he's still close range, but he's over there behind the wall.
So, can I angle myself where I'm still inside but can see out?
Yep.
So I'll do that and then shoot.
Okay. Yeah. You just lean out and go. Works for me. Shooting out the stagecoach.
Just a regular success there.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna attack again, if that's a thing.
You don't have 2 guns now, so
Okay.
you don't get a second attack in this one because you need a second weapon to
Okay.
shoot a second time, or have a weapon that has multi-tech like an auto rifle, or have an ability that has it, etc.
So that's 14 damage to that guy.
Okay, 14 damage. Let's see, he was at, 24 already, 14. Oh, shit. Okay, that's a solid hit, my friend.
And then...
So, sparks are flying off him, and chunks of things have broken off in that shot.
And he still thinks that John is probably like the owner of this barn. He said, "Hey, look, man, I just came here to get out of this storm. Don't you worry about me. And plus, trust me, if you make me shoot, I don't hardly miss. So you better stay away from me. As soon as this robot's gone, I'll take care of you if you want to try me."
Very talkative gunslinger. There is a guy at your feet, by the way. And so that's the end of that action phase. Next action phase, Omnishot gets to shoot. He's going to turn, and you're angled at him. He's going to fire at you. You have some cover though, so she'll probably do that. 48. That is a success. Are you going to try to dodge behind the wall there, Jeremy? It's 1 degree of success.
For sure. Bow show. Definitely gonna dodge.
That sounds like a
except for,
great plan.
Except for I'm not going to.
Okay. You failed?
Yes.
Okay. So you try to get behind the wall, and the bullet hits, but it hits the wall first because it's a barrier. So it's going to, the barrier on this one is light wood, which I think is only like 8 or 10. Let me look. Barriers. Special sets. This is not, I'm nowhere near where I need to be right now. There we go. It is right there. Thin wood planking 5. Okay, so 5. Okay, so the planking takes all of the damage, and none of it gets through to you. It just hits the wall and crashes through, but none of it gets to you. The bullet doesn't quite get enough kinetic energy to hit you. But your wall is shot up. So it turned and it shot. Okay, that's its action. Beginning of the next come around, it's going to shoot at you again. You get to dodge again. It's 1 degree of success. That's to you, Hickok.
I got 1 degree of success, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a shot then. That again, the planking takes a bunch of it. It is now gone. No more planking. So the next shot, if he gets to take one, will probably hit you. But he's going to walk towards it now, so that he's super close, and you're going to be like touching each other at close range, which will hopefully help him. That's, I guess, the robot's thought process. However, it's your action, and he's in close range to you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just gonna sling off another shot.
You get to increase your damage because he's in close range to you. By the way.
Okay. By how much?
It's going to go up by 1, so you'll be rolling 2d8 when you roll
Okay.
damage.
I got 95. Now, don't I get isn't there like a luck use or something like that?
You do,
like
yeah. So yeah, sorry. If you fail, you can do luck use per day. You can re-roll a failed roll.
Okay, so how do I do that? Just re-roll it?
Just re-roll it. Yeah, say I'm going to use my luck use.
Sorry, I was going to say, is at close range, does he not get the advantage plus the +1 DC?
Yep, he does. Yep, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that too. You also have advantage.
So, hold on, let me see. With advantage, that's in a great success.
Okay.
So never mind on the luck use.
Okay, cool.
And
that
then
works.
2d8, right?
Yeah, it's going to be 2d8 plus 7, yeah, and he failed his dodge.
So it is 15.
Cool, 15. So he only had a few pieces of armor really keeping him together. So when that shot goes off, it blasts him in a way that you're going to describe to me.
So yeah, it kind of it blasts like the neck area of this. I assume it's a humanoid robot, right?
It is a humanoid robot.
And the head kind of goes flying, and it kind of stands and takes another couple steps towards me right before it falls and kind of sparks and sputters. And at that exact moment, as it kind of falls, and I don't know if I have this lined up right, if I imagined it right, but I kind of imagine that John was almost behind the robot in my line of sight. And I never actually take the gun down. So I take the shot, and then as it falls, I'm now pointing the gun at John. And I say, "Look, man, I just needed to get out of that storm. You just leave me alone."
Okay, John, there's a guy pointing a gun at you, asking you to leave him alone.
I look around the edge of the barn door, see the head rolling towards me, and I'll put a foot out and stop it, going like, "I'm only fighting him. It's not my farm."
Then why are you out here trying to? What are you trying to do out here then?
all this electronics went down. There's zombies and robots and all kinds of crap coming in here now. We need to get this stuff going again, or they're going to overrun us. Where's the guy that owns this place? He took a shot from that lighter robot.
There's a guy laying at your feet, as I mentioned before.
And he was just inside the door.
Correct? No. I mean, I'm talking to Hickok. Or there's a guy laying at your feet with the other.
Oh shit! This is the guy that owns this place. He's probably going to come out here and shoot me, wasn't he?
No, we were coming out to get all these computers running. Help me close this door and keep them other things out. We got to see if he's still alive.
And
you close the door. I'll check him, and I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna overcheck him, see if he's still living.
Okay.
And with my surgeon, so I'd like to. Can I aid him and give him advantage on his?
Yep. So what you would do is you're going to roll your skill, and then your degrees of success will become +5s to him for each degree.
Okay.
It's teamwork.
Yeah. So I got a great success.
Cool. So that's +10 to his medicine. So your number, John, your medicine number +10 is what you.
Actually, I don't have medicine, which is interesting.
Do you not?
No, apparently I don't.
Oh.
Mechanics and science and tech use.
Oh.
I don't have medicine.
Apparently you don't.
Well, if he's got medicine, just use his. That's
okay.
interesting.
That's fine. All right, we'll use his. We'll just say that you just did it, right? Because that was the plan. He's alive. He's taken some burn damage and some electrical shock to his system, but he's still alive. He's not dead. He's just badly injured from the burning of the electrical zapper.
So in the moment, so
and you did 2 degrees of success. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a great success.
And I'm assuming you're. Why don't you roll 2d4 for me? Wait. Sorry, 4d4 for me because you're not in combat anymore.
First 2 are 1s, so that's 2. Wow, dude, this dice tower is rolling doubles all night. So the first 2 are 1s, and the second 2 are 3s. So
8.
That's 8.
Okay, so while you're checking him out, you managed to give him back 8 hit points. Yeah.
Does he wake up?
He does
and,
come to. He does come to.
And he's like, Hickok goes, "Now look here, I done helped you, so you better not be out here trying to shoot me or nothing. I seen you with that rifle."
No, the computers must come on.
I don't know shit about these here computers. And then is John is he obviously does he look like he knows about computers?
I mean, he has a toolkit. That's what he brought out with him.
Oh, I guess I'm asking John. Does he look like a nerd?
Not necessarily a computer nerd. He looks more like a grease monkey. He's got greasy spots on his clothes and coveralls, and he's wearing a tool belt, and he's got another kit strapped over his shoulder. He fixes things. You can tell he fixes things. He's not a fighter.
So he said, "Well, he doesn't look like he knows shit about this stuff either. Why don't you fix it?"
I can fix some of this stuff. I just got to know what I'm fixing first.
First, check the power pack. There should be a backup power pack connected, and then the counter oscillator. And he points at some box of electronics that we guess is a counter oscillator.
Maybe I can figure it out. Let's go have a look at it.
Okay. We're going to jump to some of the other guys, and we'll come back to you and whether or not you guys figure it out.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Who do we want to go to? Dingane, you haven't been talked to in a while. So Dingane's got zombies around him. You hear some gunfire going off behind you near the barn, but you have zombies to deal with.
Okay. Yeah, the one right in front of him, he'll go ahead and take the shot first before the free move.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he'll whip through. He'll go stabbing for the head of the thing this time, with the intent to move afterwards.
Okay.
And all right, that's still advantage. Hey, 24 with advantage, which is a great success to the second one, or is that amazing success? I get the names of them wrong. It's 2 degrees of success.
That's a great success. Okay.
So, yeah,
so
2
degrees. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
See
Yeah.
You got a 007, which is also 2 degrees. So you hit him.
Ooh. Oh, nice. All right. And this is brutal with advantage and this spear. So that's 11. That is 18.
So how does he die?
Spear goes clean through. Blade protrudes out the back of the head of the zombie, and as he pulls forward, the whole zombie falls into his shield and kind of uses that as a stop to get the thing off of his spear heft.
Clink.
Yeah, and then he turns and makes his way to the straight up to the doorway of the barn.
Okay, so you're right.
Kind of covering the back. So he actually goes with his back facing inside the barn, assuming that the guys that just ran in on his side were dealing with zombies there. So I'm covering the zombies coming in from the outside.
Got it. So you don't notice the robot collapse on the ground that right near your feet.
No. I would definitely notice that.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
There's a robot collapse at your feet when you come around the barn to the barn door. It has been exploded and there's its head has been knocked off.
That's good. There are robots here. Are there more? And he whirls around, definitely on edge, kind of almost standing up a little taller. And he does like a quick little flick down his shield, and some of the cage bars for a visor all kind of sound like they're loose and ready. Some additional spears.
Yep.
Yeah. Loses one. Sink.
Yep.
Out comes one of the next.
You don't see any other robots. You see another robot laying on the ground. It also has been damaged severely. It is clearly not moving. It seems. And then the other.
Have you destroyed the core?
It's funny you should ask that question, Dingane, because actually the Scout has battery backup rating 2, so it actually does get up. Because it does, sorry, battery backup 2. So it gets, let's see, cool. So it comes back to, it doesn't have the same initiative. It only has 1 action per round. So it starts to stand up right by you. It has an initiative of 5. Yours is 8. You can go first.
All right. As I said, I don't know if its irrational mind recognizes the skin of its own kind, plastered across my shield and making up my spear.
But you can attack first, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Going straight for one of its legs.
Okay.
Gonna attack in directly on on like a kneecap or a robotic knee. Called shot.
Called shot knee. Got it.
We'll try that. And that is a 33. That is a 2 degrees of success with the advantage.
It's only 1 degree of success for its dodge, so you hit.
All right.
And so you do the. Go ahead and roll damage. Yeah. It takes half, and then it gets knocked down, and its movement is slowed.
Okay. Oh, and then half again.
So roll your damage, and it's going to take half of that. So you just roll your damage, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So 6. That's 13 is total. It was not a very big roll to begin with.
So it's going to take 6. 6, and then it goes down. So.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So it drops. However, it gets active now. It's going to drag itself towards you. You were in short range or close? because you have the spear, so you could have been.
Yeah, probably would have been closer.
Okay, so it's going to crawl and grab you. It's going to try to grapple with you, versus try to tackle you and stuff. But it's going to grapple with you. So
Totally.
It's a brawl attack on you.
Ooh, yeah.
Skill. Oh, we gotta roll more. So what was your? Did you get a success? Or
Barely. I rolled a 73 out of 75.
okay.
I don't actually have the skill. That's just
Neither does it.
fighting skill.
So you
Okay.
guys are like at the same level. So it did. Wait. No, it failed. I'm sorry. It failed because I forgot it had disadvantage, and so it failed on that roll. So yeah, you kind of shake it off, and then it is your action.
Okay.
You
With
get-
it being on the, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say because it's on the ground, you get advantage on your strike on it because you're standing over it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say with it on the ground, I'm gonna strike with the shield and just slam it down across the neck.
Okay.
See if I can
Roll with advantage.
just deactivate it. Oh, with advantage.
Yep. If you already have advantage, then
Standard
you.
fighting skill. 'Cause I'm not actually attacking with the spear, so just
Yeah, it's a standard. It's a fighting skill. Yeah. Oh, do you have clubs?
Actually, yes, I do. I do
Then
have
that's
clubs.
what-
Oh,
that's
that's
what it
right.
would be.
That was for the shield attacks.
Mhm.
I totally forgot about that. That is one fail and one standard success, or 1 degree of success for
Okay.
the advantage. I mean,
So its best or its disadvantage roll on it because it's on the ground is a 96. So it totally does not dodge. You hit. Its best was 76. It would have failed anyway. So you go ahead and strike it, chop its head right off. It is.
okay.
Its control sensors are no longer connected to its combat servos. As you know the
It
terminology.
was already beat on a little bit.
It was
That
almost dead. It was almost dead anyway. It doesn't even matter how much
Yeah.
damage you roll. It only had like 2 hit points left. So I assume you're gonna get more than 2. So you separate its head from its processor unit from its combat servos. And so
All right.
it's completely desensored.
And then he kind of scans around, looking for more.
Okay.
A little concerned.
You don't see any. Jumping back to June. So you backed away. You're in the hallway. What do you do?
He tells the kids to barricade their door and shouts over to Pat. Pat, we got some fucking aliens over here.
Pats. The guy fighting the zombies seems to be fine. The zombies are still encroaching on the place, but you got this guy behind you shouting about fucking aliens.
I hate aliens. Yeah, as
I
long
counted
as
5 of them.
5 of them.
5 of them just beyond the store.
And he goes, "Okay, I'll be right there. I'm coming."
Cool.
I'll shout down to Dingane, "Hey, you're on your own."
Everyone in the barn, you're on your own, guys. Good luck surviving the zombies.
Yeah, I'll go through the door where June is at then.
Okay. So you're in the hallway with June, and he's indicating a door that they're on the other side of.
Yeah, I'll sling my rifle and go for my sidearm.
Smart. Let's see. What is your luck?
95.
Right.
Wow.
Your old Pat.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, you succeed. I rolled the luck for you. You go through the door, I assume? That's what you said you were going to do?
Yep.
Okay. You go through the door, and you enter the room. There the two one of the soldiers and 2 aliens. One of the soldiers and one of the smaller guys was crossing into the room to go out and is surprised by you coming in, so you get to surprise them, which means they get a -5 to their actions and you get to act first.
Excellent.
And they don't get to act for the first come around. That's where the -5 comes in. So there's one tall guy you may or may not recognize him. He's an alien soldier. He's pretty big. He's got armor on top of. He's got skin on top of skin, muscle on top of muscle, essentially, and then a smaller one with what appears to be a blaster. You attacked first.
Only one of them is armed right now.
They
Is that
both
what you
have.
said?
They both have weapons. One has a blade thing on his back and and a rifle-ish looking thing in his hand, and the other one has a smaller device in his hand. The smaller one has a smaller device, and the larger one has a larger device that appear to be
Okay.
rifle blaster-esque things.
I'll fire on the small one first.
Okay.
Ooh, that is 2 degrees of success.
Ooh, that is enough to hit him for everything you got. What is your damage? They are in short range, so you're fine.
They're in short range?
Yeah, so you get advantage on your roll, but you get 2 degrees of success.
Yeah, that is 5 points for damage.
5? Okay.
Yep.
As the bullet seems to hit, there's a shimmer of weird psychic energy around him that seems to dissipate around where you'd strike. And he takes 1. Okay. They don't get to act, so nothing. So you get to act again.
I get to attack again?
Yeah, because they don't get to act their first round.
Yeah, I will fire again at the small guy. That's another degree of success again. 2 degrees.
Okay, and then... Okay, so he fails on his dodge. So you hit him.
That's 6 points.
Okay, so this time when you shoot, the bullet doesn't seem to hit this weird barrier of energy. It just hits in the flesh. And there's this squirt of green blood that flies back to its friend. Its friend now gets to act. You're about to get shot at by some kind of thing. You go ahead and roll dodge, if you will.
Yeah.
Show rifle, so it's disadvantage because you're short range. Okay. It got a degree of success. It succeeded. How would your dodge pan out?
I had a great success too.
Oh, you had a great success. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you dodge out of the way of this arc of electrical energy that breezes past your skin. The little one is going to fire. It has a blaster, so it gets advantage. Okay, it has 1, 2, what is it? 2 degrees? 2 degrees of success.
Nope, missed that.
Okay, go ahead and roll resilience for me.
Oh, excellent. That's 2 degrees of success.
Okay, cool. You feel this electrical energy arc through your body, but it just passes through. It seems to your body just kind of goes, and you just go through it. Doesn't affect you. And you get to act.
I'm going to pump another one into this little guy.
Okay.
That's a miss.
Okay, so you miss. Bullet goes wild. June. Pat is firing at these guys, and they're apparently shooting back. What's your plan?
He bursts in with 2 hands on his katana, and he swings at the closest small guy that he sees, the one that's preferably injured already.
Okay, you're jumping in this combat a little late, so we'll let you do an action, and then we'll start the next combat round.
Okay.
Cool.
So he can attack right away, or
Yeah, you can attack right away. This is your action, and then we'll start the next combat round, and we'll incorporate you in.
and he charges in and says, "Die, you alien motherfuckers!" And he rolls 41, so that is what is that? First degree of success.
That's cool because he rolled a 0, 0, 0, so he moved into your strike. So go ahead and roll your damage, and then add another d6.
Okay.
So
So 5 plus 7 plus d6.
Yep.
Okay. I rolled, what was it 13 total.
Cool. And little guy?
Yep.
Nice. Your hit is pretty solid. You do a chop or slash or cut of some kind. You explain it to me.
Okay. He jumps in, he bursts in through the door, and with double-handed strike, he does a diagonal slash. And it's just, Keisagiri!
Cool.
You know, like one of those Chambara stuff.
Yep. So the cut goes deep inside this being, almost halfway through. Actually, halfway through, but not quite all the way through. And so you're pulling back out. There's just a squirt of green blood everywhere. Some of it gets on you, some of it gets on the sword, some of it gets on the friend next to it. It is badly wounded. And it staggers, but it's still standing. It didn't die. It's very close, though. And now starts the next combat round. And that puts you... Pat goes first, then there's you, and then them. That's how it's going to go. So, Pat, what do you do?
I'm firing at the little guy.
Okay.
It's 1 degree.
Okay. Little guy gets to dodge. Little guy fails to dodge. Okay, you hit him.
That is 8 points.
That'll kill him. How does he die?
Yeah, I just jammed the gum right up against him and pumped it right into the temple.
Cool.
And the right side of his head kind of blows out as the bullet passes through.
Yeah. Right. So the skunk just goes sprayed onto his friend, all over the larger one's chest, and then it drops straight down.
Jun says, "What the hell, Pat?" As he's sprayed all over by this green goo.
Also, kill stealing. What the hell, man? It is now your action. What are you gonna do?
He's gonna go into offensive stance.
Okay.
And slash at the other alien that's in the room.
Cool.
Is that the big guy?
The big guy. Yeah, the big guy.
Okay.
He hasn't taken any damage yet.
All right.
So the big guy, you go ahead and roll your attack with advantage.
Okay. So that is 35. So that's a great success. I do that twice, right? And 63. So that's a regular success.
Okay, so regular success. Hold on, what is this? Sorry, somebody's messaged me. I think they're. Okay, sorry. I thought somebody was trying to get into this game, and I'm like, we're really late in the session. What is happening? Okay, so you had 1 degree of success.
The first one was 2 degrees of success.
Oh, okay. The first attack?
Yeah, for advantage, I do it twice.
Oh,
right?
you're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so it's 2 degrees of success then.
Yeah.
Okay, and he failed. So you hit him. Go ahead and roll damage with the +1. So you're gonna roll. Hold on, let me bring up your character sheet so I can make sure I give you the right information. June Kim. So you're increasing it by 1, right? The katana is E, so it's gonna go up to D. So it's 2d8 + 7.
2d8. Okay.
Yep.
Ooh, nice. So 5, 12.
12. Okay, nice. You hack into the armor of the creature, and you realize that this skin upon skin thing that it's wearing is some kind of armor. It squishes as you chop, but there's definitely, as you pull away, you see that, like, you slice it off, parts of it come off. There's a body underneath, inside of this body. There's a body inside of a body, essentially.
I feel like I'm fighting a rhino.
Cool. 14. Okay. And now it's its action. It is going to shoot at you. It has disadvantage because you're in super close range to it. And it misses. It hits a 98.
Nice.
Almost really, really bad. Okay, so it misses. And does it have... No, it does not. So it's now going to try to move farther into you, but you guys are kind of in the way, so it's not really going to be able to move anywhere. So I guess what is its other action? Doesn't have one. All right. So you've removed all of its actions. All right. That means Pat gets stacked. Pat, what do you do?
I'm going to stick the gun on him and fire.
Okay, point blank range with the handgun. You get a +1 damage mod and advantage.
Yeah, that's an +1.
Oh, snap. Okay, so you're going to roll your extra damage, just to be clear. You have your normal damage for your weapon is, I forget.
D6 3.
1d6 plus 3, so it's going to be 2d6 plus 3. And then we're going to roll on this table of critical damage. You're going to roll a d10. So
That's 11.
Okay, so you do 11. Okay.
Yep.
And go ahead and roll the critical, the d10 for me.
10.
You got a 10?
Yep.
Cool. Oh shit, that's really cool. The damage was critical. It penetrates into its armor and through its body, causing a devastating damage, doubling the damage you caused to it, making it 22, which is enough to not only penetrate its armor but also do enough damage to the body underneath to kill it.
Nice.
Excellent.
Because you did 11 would have been enough to penetrate the armor, and then it only had 11 left, so you killed it. Boom! Your shot just goes straight through its chest, just tearing through, creating a giant gaping hole. Green blood flows everywhere, and it just falls back dead.
Shit, Pat, not again! As the green stuff covers the Ronin.
This is the way you do it, kid.
Nice. Meanwhile, you start hearing screaming from the hallway behind you. Jumping down to Thomas. Thomas, you have some zombies that have quickly approached. One of them is still alive that you've done some damage to, and there's another one that hasn't been damaged at all.
Thomas is gonna finish him off, starting with the one he hacked away at already.
Okay.
Got a 31. So that's a great, I guess.
Okay. And so the zombie gets to dodge. The zombie got a 56, which is, I think, well above its dodging ability. That's the robot. That's Daxton. Where's the darn zombies? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, that's a failure. Okay, so it fails. So go ahead and roll damage for me.
All right. 2, 3, and I got 10.
10. You already did some damage to it, so that you did 2 points of damage to it. It's dead. So how does it die?
After following the swing through and hitting him with the hatchet, Thomas just looks at it and just decides to headbutt it.
Taking its head clean off. Yep. Okay.
Tiny zombie.
Puny zombies. Cool. So yeah, you absolutely crush it.
Yep.
Cool. Thus ends a combat round. Well, the one will move into close range with you, and that's its whole action because it takes 2 actions to move. And so now that's the end of the combat round, and it will become your action. What do you do to this one that's moved into you? It's not smart because you can just crush it.
Thomas will keep swinging that hatchet of his, good old hatchet.
The trusty axe.
Yep. Got myself a 25. It's not amazing, but it's great.
Okay. The zombie got a 62, which is far failure on its dodge. I mean, he could have tried to parry, but then he would have just taken its arm off. So go ahead and roll damage. No, parry with my hand. Tunk. Ah, shit.
3, 7. So that's 10 plus 17.
17. How does it die?
Puny zombie, no hurt dog. Not even using hatchet. He just used the handle, just swings it down right on top of his head, popping like a pistachio nut.
Cool. Just solidly drops. Yeah, it is dead. Whew, man, you made quick work of those guys. I'll jump back to the other guys because you've definitely cleared up this space now. You're like, this is a safe zone. You guys in the barn. You are in the barn and you're defending the barn. What are you guys doing in here now?
Well, he told
I'm breaking all the
told us what we need.
electronics.
You're breaking all the electronics.
Just kidding.
Just start shooting at them. Is this fixing them? I don't know. Is this how electronics work?
This is what I know how to do.
I'm gonna take a look at what he told me to look at there, the box he told me to look at.
So there was the power, the connection is what he told you to check first, and then the
yeah. So I'll see if I can figure out what he actually meant with what's actually there.
Counter oscillator.
Yeah, that one.
So you're gonna check the power supply. All right, so that's fine. It's easy to find the power supply, and it's clearly been disconnected. Doesn't even require a mechanics roll on it. You just have to go click. But the power starts up again inside. Somebody clearly unplugged it, but for whatever reason it was running or wasn't running. We don't know how they unplugged it, but there's some pull and tug on this cord that goes back to the house. So maybe they did it from the other side. And then you can make a mechanics roll on the counter oscillator to make sure it's working, or to get it working.
We'll see what we get there. That's just a regular success. I rolled a 61 and I have a 75 in the skill. So just a regular success.
Functionally, it looks like it's generally working. It is missing a part or two that have been removed, and you don't know how or when it was removed, but it was removed. You can rebuild it. You have the abilities and you have the technology.
I have spare parts in my repair kit.
You do.
So I'm trying to repair, and I have grease monkey. Oh no, that's mechanics. Sorry. Which skill am I using?
Mechanics. So you're using a grease monkey skill on it.
So I always have advantage and a repair code +1, AP limit +1.
Yeah. So you so the action, if you were in combat, you could increase your limit because you have a degree of success limit in an action phase. You can you increase that by 1, but that's not what we're dealing with here. In this case, you're increasing your repair code, so the amount of repairs you do will go up by 1 set. So in this case, it would be 3d4 per degree of success.
Okay, so I'm going to roll with advantage on my mechanics, see what I get.
Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Not 3d4. It's 2d4. It's 2d4 plus 3 per degree of success.
So my first roll is 23, which is really good.
So let's just do that right now. So that's that first. So it's just one roll is what you're doing. One roll.
For the grease monkey, I get advantage with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead and roll your advantage. Yeah. Sorry.
So I had 23 and 004.
004,
which
would going to be way better.
Yeah, from the 75, that 18 is my amazing. So yeah, I beat the amazing.
Okay, cool. So this is a repair. So you're going to roll 6d4 plus 3. So 64 plus 18, and tell me whatever number that is. And that's how much repair you get to do suddenly, which is probably going to be more than enough to fix this damn thing.
4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 plus. What did you say the plus was?
18.
What's that? 30?
Yeah.
18 plus 12?
That is more than enough to repair it. You only need to do 10 to repair it. So,
okay.
3 times repair. In fact, not only do you fix it, you make it seem to counter oscillate better. You don't even know what counter oscillation means, but it counter oscillates better now. You have pieced some things together, taped it off, done some stuff. But with 30, you have to put 30 component pieces into it, which is quite a bit. We're just going to go ahead and accept the 10 is what you did because you can't put more component pieces into it.
Okay.
So 10 is what you take, which is your entire repair kit.
Yep.
So your repair kit no longer has component pieces in it, but you're able to tape this thing off, add a wire here or there, do whatever you need to. So how do you jury rig this thing? And then I'll tell you what it does.
We'll bypass a couple of components with some wires. We'll add an extra box in there. Drop in a little circuit board in there so that it controls itself and moderates the counter oscillator to fine tune it and tweak it a little bit so that it actually adjusts with the changes made to the other signal.
So the counter oscillator comes to life and counter oscillates in a way that it's never counter oscillated before. You're still not entirely sure what it's counter oscillating, but this is where something cool happens. As the counter oscillation comes on, Pat, in the back of your head, you feel this pressure, a sort of dull headache in the back of your brain.
Yeah, I tap my head.
As you guys turn to find out about the screaming in the hallway, you see three aliens, because there are 3 remaining aliens. 3 aliens suddenly drop to the ground and start holding their heads, dropping everything they have, which includes the kids. And they're just holding their heads, and they're making a horrendous, like, ear-breaking scream.
Well, we'll have to make them stop doing that.
Actually, it's so bad. Why don't you guys go ahead and roll a resolve for me? It's not going to be. It'll be a temporary problem. You're not going to go insane or anything. Go ahead and roll a resolve.
2 degrees.
Okay.
I fail.
Okay. So Pat's fine. June, you experience this unnerved feeling. If you were still in well, I mean, at this point, you're going to take any action you take for the next 1 combat round is going to be at disadvantage. All actions for the next combat round, which is actually quite a long time. That's 2 action phases for you, so that's a decent amount of time. By the way, how is it 12-5? It should be 12-7. Something is wrong with my numbers. I don't know what's happening, but okay. I just realized your initiative is a bit weird. Cool. Okay, so 1272 would be the correct math if it were 12, but I'm not sure. I'll look it up later. Doesn't matter. It's cool. The fight's over.
The 12 over there, it's actually his armor. I thought I needed to write that down.
Oh, that's not your initiative. Your initiative is only 5. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You're good. Fight's over. Game is over, actually. So as the alien falls to the ground and you guys make quick work of them because the aliens are, screaming, you hear the rustling in the room behind you as Daxton tries to go for all of his gear and get the hell out of there. In fact, he does. He manages to get his stuff and go out of there. However, he makes a beeline right for the gate because it's the only part of the electric fence now that the electric fence is back together and things are happening. The only part that is open, and there happens to be a guy standing there in the gateway.
There's a Thomas in the way.
Thomas, smash!
Thomas, the one that was kind of weird and was willing to make a deal with everybody, comes running out of the house. He's carrying a bunch of stuff, some of which is, he's trying to tuck in his bag. Looks like alien tech and alien gear, but he's clearly fleeing from the house. What do you do? Thomas? James? Are you there?
Oh, yep. Sorry. Lost. Can you repeat what just happened? Sorry, I just lost it.
Sorry. So what's happening is the one weird looking guy with the blotchy skin is running out of the house, stuffing alien gear into bags, and he's making a beeline straight for you. He's clearly trying to escape.
From the house, you hear the voice, "Smash him, Thomas! Smash him!"
Right?
Okay. Thomas smash. Thomas drops his shield and his hatchet, just runs up and charges the guy, trying to give him a bear hug.
Okay, so you go ahead and roll your brawl grapple attacks. This is a brawl attack.
Right.
Which I think let's check your character sheet.
It's the same as his other fighting skills.
Yeah, that's right. So just as good, just as good at bear hugging people as he is at everything else. But he gets advantage because he's rushing the guy.
All right, let's see. Hold up. I got, what is it? 20. Is that a 29?
Oh. Which is it's 2 degrees of success for you. That's a great success. Daxon got a 52, which is a failed dodge. You absolutely grab him.
That's a linebacker tackle.
Poof.
Thomas is hugging him, not to hug him. Thomas wants to kill man. He said, okay. Thomas will hug him to death.
Okay.
Lots of love.
He tries to break free, but his strength is nowhere near yours, so it's going to be an opposed strength roll. Go ahead and roll strength for me. He's going to roll strength back. I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to do better because he failed.
I got a 63.
Which is a success for you. That's because your strength is 75. So you're just like, "Ugh," and he tries to fight out, and you just hold him back.
Cute little man.
It is your action. At this point, if you're trying to kill him, there's basically 2 things you can try to do. You can try to crush him, or you can try to move him. I suggest crushing him.
Yeah, no. Thomas, no move. Thomas, give him lots of love.
All right, so it's a opposed strength roll. He failed again, so you go ahead and roll your strength.
All right, let's see. 56. Yeah.
56. Okay, and so that's a success. It's not 2 degrees. It doesn't matter because you succeeded and he failed. So you're going to go ahead and roll for me M, which is 2d6 plus 3.
You said 2d6 plus 3?
2d6 plus 3.
6 plus 3, okay. Nice. 5, 6, that was 6, so 9.
Okay. That is not enough to kill him, but that is like half of his life. So we're going to go ahead and roll
breaks
his
halfway
resilience.
through his spine.
And he fails his resilience roll, so we're going to say he goes unconscious. Because he failed. So you crush him and you just squeeze the wind out of him. He's going to go unconscious, and you essentially can kill him if you want to, or you can leave him unconscious and let the others deal with him. How do you want to handle it?
Thomas doesn't know why he should kill him. Confused why he run. So Thomas thinks, oh, he must have got scared. He'll bring him back home.
Carry him back to the house.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So the Thomas. So the aliens and the monsters, the zombies, seem to start just kind of disorientedly meandering mindlessly through the rest of the thing. Some of them catch the fence and get shocked. Some of them just sort of meander. None of them really enter the barn because they're too confused about what's happening. But it gives you guys the chance to you easily move through them because they're not acting like they have any rational thought process in whatever irrational thought process they had in the first place. But meanwhile, Pat and June, Thomas brings the guy who tried to escape back to you after you make quick work of the aliens.
Oh, why is everyone covered in green goo?
Well, there were aliens, Thomas. And I think you really loved this one. What do you think, Pat? Should we kill him?
Well, you got the blade. I want to save my ammo.
We could wait for the old man to come back and have him interrogate him, but I don't know. I mean, it's pretty obvious he's an alien, and he wanted to kill us all.
Yeah. Just do them.
All right. He pulls out, holds up his sword, and in a flash, he flicks it, and off goes his head.
As you do that, lots of red blood comes squirting out of him. Red blood all over Thomas, all over the floor. The three of you have to make a resolve roll as you realize that he was not an alien.
21.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Sure, whatever. You kill people all the time.
Yeah. I guess he wasn't an alien.
What about you, Thomas?
Got 69. I failed my resolve.
Yeah, so Thomas, they just murdered a man that you were holding in cold blood. It was definitely a man. Just cut his throat while he was unconscious.
And the fact that I was so bear hugging him just makes his pit, like the blood just bursts out like a toothpaste bottle. just spraying the scene like Kill Bill. Just Thomas freaks out and throws a body at June. Throws it like
This
a dog.
house will never be the same again.
Just throws the bodies at someone. Just no.
Jin basically catches the body and just sets it down, and he looks at him and says, "Yeah." That's it.
Whatever, douchewaffle. So the rest of you guys can get back to the house, and when you do, Earp can decide if he's going to come back to the house or not. That's up to Jeremy how Hickok is going to act.
I guess since I've already met the man of the house.
You
And
did
if he was-
you did actually bring him back to life, as it were.
Yeah,
I mean,
he owes me.
yeah, I was gonna say maybe it was you a life debt or something.
Well, I guess Hickok would how normally somebody pledges their life to you in a life debt. Hickok just expects it. I don't know if this guy is doing that, but he's like, this guy owes me his life.
That's how it works out there in the wild country. Yeehaw. Anyway, cool. So you guys all go back to the house, and you find that that there's this blood all over the place. It's green, it's red, it's whatever. The family is none too happy about what went down, but they're also really happy to be alive. So they're not mad at you guys. They're mad at the dude whose head you cut off at the top of the stairs and just bled all over the place. You do find the body of Samson down in the basement. He appears to have been trying to do something down there, and his throat was cut. You guys have no clue what it was that was happening, but it does seem like it was a struggle. So probably that he was trying to stop Daxton from doing whatever Daxton was doing to cut the power and whatever all. Not clear as to what the situation was, but you guys do know of this thing called traitors. They're people who have decided that the enemies have already won, and you might as well just join sides with the bad guys. So now that you know he was alive and human, that's probably what he was.
I've got some Xenotech use. Could we go through his gear and kind of try and piece together what he might have done, or if he traded the aliens for stuff to do this, or exactly what we can piece together from what he has on him in his gear?
So he just has a bunch of the standard Xenotech stuff, which includes things like brain enhancements and other things. It's a lot of really confusing stuff. Most of which you can't really decipher what it would be unless you started experimenting with it. But basically, he was aware of the counter oscillator and its frequency, and needed to shut it down in order to let the aliens come in. The fact that there was a lightning storm was just a complete coincidence and just a helpful cover for his bringing in of the aliens. It's part of the reason probably why he offered such a awesome thing to them in order to stay in their shelter. Right, because he wasn't going to lose it in the long run anyway. That's what you kind of figure out based on his stuff. you guys can rifle through it and take whatever you want. You just have random gear. But the family will let you stay for a couple more days afterwards and eat their food. If
and clean up the blood, right?
You
clean up the freaking blood.
You're gonna have to work for it for sure.
Exorcise the blood demons out of the house. They're everywhere.
Except Hitcock, who probably doesn't do jack.
Well, I imagine for some reason now that the character is done in the way that I played the character, I feel like he would at all times be pointing his gun at somebody or something like that, like just like eating his food or stew or whatever they're presenting with him, gun under the table, pointing at him.
Right.
You didn't come over here to shoot me now, did you?
Not
Someone
today.
drops a fork at the table. Gun comes out.
He's like, that was just too fast of a move. Slow it down.
Right. Someone sneezes. Gun.
I shot a man for less. You better calm down over there.
Thomas thinks someone needs a hug.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the end of the adventure. You guys managed to survive the outpost and the crazy storm and the aliens, zombies, robots, and the traitor. I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast, and then we'll stay a little bit longer if you guys want to give me feedback. But thanks, everyone who sees this later on, for watching all 4 hours of this adventure. It's good times. Good times. So, bye now.